so many ways.
More than 70,000 Hoosiers have epilepsy. It can't be cured, but there is medication to help control it. There's a walk to end epilepsy at Butler University Saturday. You'll hear what they'll be discussing at that event Friday. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 3:04.
Greetings from R&R Agency, your Indiana health insurance pros. We continue to save our new customers 30 to 40% when compared to their present individual or small group coverages. Many of our plans feature zero deductible and zero copays, coverage guaranteed to age 65, and the largest network in the nation with 2 A-rated companies. We've been in the same location, with the same phone number for 27 years. We'll be here when you need us. My early mentor in the insurance business was fond of saying, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always have what you always had. If you're unhappy with your present coverage and price, stop doing what you've always done. Call us at 317-435-1718 or go to rragency.org. That's 317-435-1718 or rragency.org. Thought for the day, if our country's such an awful place, why do millions come here to be free? God bless America, or at least what she used to be.
With traffic on the 5s at 3:05, here's Matt Baer. We'll take a look at the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Dry until about 9 p.m., then showers move in and continue overnight off and on. 60 this evening, down to 52 by tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist David James for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
Education talk today. A lot of education stuff. Teachers, unions,
scandals,
trapper keepers. Am I dating myself with the trapper keeper reference? Just a tiny bit there. Okay. The Indiana teachers got a massive bump in budget money, Hammer.
So it's going to be finalized later on tonight, most likely. It's going to be a late night at the Indiana General Assembly, but they're going to take a look at the budget, and it sounds like, from all of our sources on the inside, the teachers and education going to get a big bump in budget money. Now, mind you, already, the education system in the state of Indiana gets more than half of the state budget already. But still, the red-shirted teachers come down here and protest every once in a while. The Republican lawmakers get scared. They go into a corner, they wet themselves, and throw cash at the red-shirted teachers to make the fear go away.
The teachers, are we talking like pay increase or just overall budgets for schools?
Budgets for schools.
Okay.
And the way that it works is that the folks that really deserve the money, the teachers that go into these classrooms and deal with some of these rotten kids, more often than not, they get screwed.
Sure,
but
I want teachers to get paid more.
I do too. But the administrators, boy, they're living the sweet life. They get all the money. They're making the 6-figure salaries. And then they'll be the first ones complaining that, well, we don't have enough money for the schools. Even though we've got tons of administrators here, including PR people and social media reps that have big salaries, we need more money. So instead of fixing their own fiscal house, they keep the money, and then we're back in the same situation next year. So that's going to be a big hot topic tonight, but we do expect the Indiana education system to get a bump in money. Another education story is the fallout of the Brownsburg scandal. This is something that, thanks to Rob Kendall, when he went off the rails with us a couple weeks ago, brought this story to the forefront that at an elementary school in Brownsburg, not 1, not 3, but 5 different staff members forced a special needs student to sit there and eat his own vomit with a spoon.
I think 3 were complicit and watched, did nothing and didn't report it. The other 2.
5 are facing charges.
5 are facing charges for sure. Yeah.
So
ugly, just sad, gross story.
Again, 5 different people. If you're watching, if you're silent, you're complicit here. And that's what the law clearly thinks because 5 people have been charged. Just a disgusting, gross story. And this wasn't like it happened last week. This was something that happened back in February.
It took a long time from February to now. Hell, it was a long time for when Rob went off the rails with us and kind of broke the story and told us specific details about the story that we prayed and hoped were not true. And it took a long time from then until now to get the story.
So that's going on with Brownsburg. Meanwhile, Plainfield still dealing with the fallout of that undercover video that had one of their administrators just going out there admitting, yeah, we have critical race theory, we do it, but we call it something else. Now, I'm paraphrasing there, but Plainfield, Goshen, Elkhart, I believe Martinsville, those were some of the schools busted on that undercover video, admitting that they're basically lying to the community and to a lot of the parents.
I'm okay with more money for teachers and stuff like that. Can we? And if you got to bump up the budget for school corporations, okay. But can we get some of the lying under control?
Right.
Can we get some of this stuff just completely eliminated out of the schools? Can we just agree to maybe, if you want more money, if you want more respect, then that was not a good look, that undercover video. I mean, forget about what happened in Brownsburg. That's clearly horrible, and people deserve to go to jail. But the undercover video of those administrators saying, yeah, we kind of do the white privilege walk. I still don't know what that meant at a Plainfield.
They haven't returned my call. I called and left a voicemail and asked, are you still taking registrations for the white privilege walk? Because I wanted to get involved. I wanted to be part of it. Is it a 5K? Is it a 10K? What are we talking about here? Can a brother still get in the white privilege walk? If you're an administrator at Plainfield, please let me know. So all of these things happening here in Indiana, but it was yesterday at the national level that the head of this beast, Randy Weingarten, the teachers union head, the winner of the Joe Namath lookalike contest, Randy Weingarten, testified in Washington, and man, this was a disaster.
Is that a contest you want to be the winner of?
No.
If you're having a Joe Namath lookalike contest, you don't want that trophy?
And I should clarify, it's Joe Namath now. It's not Brady Bunch and Super Bowl champion Joe Namath, because that was a good-looking man. But this is Joe Namath now. This is Joe Namath that wants to kiss Susie Kolber. So Randy Weingarten made it clear that COVID-19 school closures were really designed to protect the teachers instead of having any sort of care for the children. Okay, so take a listen to this. We got a couple different clips here. Randy Weingarten basically writing the CDC's rules for them.
Did you suggest revisions to their operational strategy?
What we suggested, sir, was ideas.
Do you remember how many edits that you suggested?
We suggested concepts, sir.
So the CDC is getting bossed around by Joe Namath here. Does anybody else have a problem with that? Because the CDC had a pretty big hand in what we could and couldn't do as a nation. But you let this lunatic, who spends a lot of the money she's given to go over to Ukraine and grandstand to make some of the rules and regulations? This was a bad look. Here's a little bit more. This is where Randy Weingarten says that they spent every day trying to get schools open.
We spent every day from February on trying to get schools open. We knew that remote education was not a substitute for opening schools, but we also knew that people had to be safe. And maybe it's because I live in New York City. I live near a hospital. Every other minute there was an ambulance. There was terror. Our members were terrified. Others were terrified.
That was her reasoning on her guidance, because there was ambulances going by her apartment in New York.
In New York, yes. She didn't have any idea of why the ambulances were going by. Perhaps it was the out-of-control crime. We don't know. But she heard sirens and went to a corner and wet herself.
You have to understand. You said it at the beginning of before that clip, kids aren't her priority. The head of the teachers union, Randy Weingarten, she doesn't care about the kids. The teachers unions are her priority, and she leveraged the power the unions have to get more concessions And we all knew the data immediately. Kids weren't at risk or at very low risk for severe disease when it comes to COVID. Schools in Europe were back within a week, if not a month or two.
Callous and cruel.
Yeah.
Those were the words that Randy Weingarten used when there was a push to open up schools in the fall of 2020. Callous and cruel. But then you heard her yesterday with those crocodile tears going down her face. So ridiculous. Presidential candidate on the Republican side, Vivek Ramaswamy, he's got a problem with people like Randy Weingarten and the Department of Education. He jumped on Fox with his idea.
I would shut down the Department of Education, which creates these toxic policies, use that money to fund school choice programs across this country so parents don't have to be held prisoners by teachers' unions. The level of influence that Randy Weingarten and the teachers' unions held over the CDC is staggering, and now we know why our policies protected teachers' unions instead of kids. So I say shut down the Department of Education, fund underfunded school choice programs, and then unleash the public schools by abolishing these teachers' unions. That's how we fix education in this country.
Now, I know a lot of people hear that, oh my God, he wants to shut down the Department of Education. But really sit back and think about it. Would that be the worst idea in the world? I don't think it would be. Would your lives be completely ruined if the Department of Education was disbanded? I don't think it would be. Hell, there's a chance things might even run a little smoother. Producer Allison is here. Hit me with some legal stuff. Crime, punishment, judges. Legal stuff. Disney v. DeSantis. DeSantis v. Disney. We got legal stuff going on in the state of Florida. Walt Disney, the corporation, is suing Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis. This was what Ron DeSantis had to say about what's going on with Disney in Florida.
Not conservative to just simply defer to every corporation in America. That's being a corporatist. Disney was enjoying unprecedented privileges and subsidies. They controlled their own government in Central Florida. They were exempt from laws that virtually everybody else had to follow. So we said that arrangement doesn't work for us.
And then they essentially tried to use their economic power to influence and change state policy when it comes to the parental rights bill.
Right. Now, yesterday, presidential candidate, Nikki Haley, she kind of took the side of Disney in a tweet. Quote, "Hey, Disney, my home state will happily accept your 70,000 jobs if you want to leave Florida. We've got great weather, great people. It's always a great day in South Carolina. South Carolina's not woke, but we're not sanctimonious either."
I see what she did there. The old nickname, DeSanctimonious, from Donald Trump.
And that did not go over well on social media. People started calling her Nikki Mouse for siding with Disney over the state of Florida. This was what Nikki Haley had to say. She doubled down on a video.
If Disney would like to move their hundreds of thousands of jobs to South Carolina and bring the billions of dollars with them, I'll let them know. I'll be happy to meet them in South Carolina.
Man, that's a bold strategy move, siding with Disney over Florida. Now, a guy by the name of Ryan Gerdusky, he's a political consultant, and he's the founder of the 1776 Project. He shared his thoughts on Nikki Haley and Disney v. DeSantis.
You have Nikki Haley, who is as popular. She's the Republican Hillary Clinton. She will do or say anything to appease her donors, to appease the corporate people who have put her in positions of power throughout her entire life. And she has one major thing, which is promote war, promote broken borders, promote trade agreements that gut Americans, and obviously, apparently give crony capitalism to corporations that push and peddle cultural Marxism on children. This is ridiculous. And for all of the crying about Governor DeSantis, how mean he's been on Disney, since the fight happened, Disney has not weighed in on a single cultural fight. The pro-life legislation, the gun legislation, the expansion of the Parents' Rights and Education Act, the fight over E-Verify. Disney has not weighed in at all, because they learned that just because you build a castle in Florida doesn't make you the king of the state. And right now, Ron DeSantis has led with leadership, and no one else has. I mean, where are these governors? They should be pushing this just as hard as DeSantis is on everything with corporations and their state contracts.
100%.
And plus, isn't Nikki Haley saying, hey, Disney, look, I know you wanted to indoctrinate gender ideology into our schools, but yeah, come on over anyway, because money talks.
You can do that in our state. And he was so right with that. Ever since DeSantis pushed back on him, they haven't said a whole lot. All it takes is a little backbone. All right, let's see if we got Matt Bear connected. Matt, you there?
Yes, I am.
Rock and roll.
Northbound Johnson County, northbound 65 crash before Worsville Road. 2 right lanes are blocked and traffic is stopped for about 5.5 miles, almost to State Road 44 Franklin. US 31 would be the better option here for the moment. And a truck's underneath a bridge. It's eastbound Washington Street at 465 on the east side. The left lane is blocked right now. Traffic sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double the cash back you've earned. That's right. Everything you earned doubled. See terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Inside Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Indianapolis is the crossroads of America, the crown jewel of the Midwest.
I'm Jefferson Shreve. I grew up in Perry Township on the south side. I've stayed pretty close to home. Indianapolis, Indiana is my home. The first part of my life was focused on growing a business. And in doing that, I've done some good, employed quite a few people.
But with a crumbling infrastructure and record-breaking crime, can we still say Indy is a jewel of a city?
I think sadly, we've had better, shinier, happier days in our past than we are at today.
Jefferson Shreve has a plan. Hire more police, give them the support they need, and let them do their job. Because we don't have to live like this.
Strong leaders can pull people into a cause and motivate them.
What Indy needs now is a leader with a plan.
I'm Jefferson Shreve, and I need your vote for Mayor of Indianapolis.
Paid for by Shreve for Mayor.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. We're believers in Bill, and now we're clients too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets.
To learn how you could get your 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. Reach out to Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
This is Scott Willis running for mayor of Westfield. As a colonel in the United States Marines, I stood up for our country, our families, and our values. As mayor, I have the leadership and vision to make Westfield a world-class city. How do we build a world-class city without losing the qualities we love? We do it with transparency, integrity, and smart leadership. I am a lifelong Republican. I'll work to diversify our tax base and to lower residential taxes. On Election Day, experience matters. I'm Scott Willis, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Willis for Westfield.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Is your Generac home standby generator overdue for annual maintenance or an oil change? Schedule an inspection with a certified tech at Generator Supercenter to ensure your Generac generator is ready when you need it most. GeneratorSupercenter.com.
Tune in to WIBC's First Day Show each Sunday, 10 to noon, to hear about good things in Indy. Brought to you by Greg Cooper and Lisa Phillips with Crossroads Collective at Compass Real Estate.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Danville.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Jerry Springer dead at the age of 79 after a bout with cancer. Hammer, I used to watch the Jerry Springer Show all the time. I mean, who didn't?
Right.
And it was syndicated all over the place. I mean, you couldn't. It seemed like all hours of the day.
And what a wild career in front of the public, right? Jerry Springer went from being a respected news anchor in Cincinnati to the mayor of Cincinnati to paying a hooker with a check, which came back to bite him, and then this career in television. Like, that's a pretty wild jump from being the respected news anchor to hosting the crazy stuff you saw on his show where the crowd would start chanting, Jerry, Jerry.
Making millions of dollars. By the way, that thing with the prostitute and the brothel and the writing the checks, I think he was 30 when that happened. He was a city councilman, had some position in the city council, but yeah, I think if you're going to go that route when dabbling in the flesh trade, you don't want to leave a paper trail.
No, you don't.
It's a shame that his career is. We have to bring that up. I always just thought that was kind of funny, though.
But you know what? If you look at today's standards, would that even be a blip on the radar today? Think about some of the scumbags that are in Washington, D.C. right now and some of the horrible things they've done. Look at Joe Biden's son is a crack-smoking moron who has embezzled money, and everybody looks the other way, but everybody's going to freak out that Jerry Springer had consensual business transactions with another woman and wrote a check for it.
In 1974.
In 1974, right.
Yeah, I mean, a guy that sits on the the House Intelligence Committee could have sex with a Chinese spy.
Right.
And not be removed, and we're all up in arms because Jerry Springer had a little fling in 74. No, he had a really interesting career, and I think it was a bout of cancer that kind of he was battling. So
I loved his cameo, man. And was it the second Austin Powers movie where it opens up and it's an episode of Springer and Dr. Evil's son, Scott Evil, is on.
Yes.
And he's upset with his dad. And Jerry Springer comes on, well, let's bring him out. And Dr. Evil walks back out and there's a fight and chairs are being thrown.
Totally forgot about that. Yes.
Such a great cameo.
And even he made other people on his show stars too. The big bald guy, Steve. Yeah, he had having his own version of the Springer Show.
And honestly, I think without Jerry Springer, you don't have those other shows like Maury and all of those shows. He was the groundbreaker, man. And listen, I get it. You might not like Maury or shows like that, but a lot of people do because look at the numbers they bring in and look at the paycheck those dudes get.
And the number of affiliates all across the country, in syndication, running every day of the week. He would tape multiple episodes of The Springer Show a day.
Right. And I love how flabbergasted Jerry would get. I can't believe a fight broke out. We had the Klan here with the Black Panthers. I can't believe we couldn't all get along here. Like, he played that bit to a T. That was so good. So rest in peace to Jerry Springer. Man, you sent me this story earlier today, Nigel. I was excited. I could use a little weight loss kick in the pants here. A new weight loss drug could be on the way.
A drug?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the pill from Lilly?
Yes. So Lilly and Company and some other company that I can't even begin to pronounce their name, they're working on this pill. It's originally designed to treat type 2 diabetes. But it's also helped people lose up to 16% of their body weight or more than 34 pounds over a 17-month time span. Now, they're anticipating this is going to be cleared later in the year. Now, I'm not telling people, hey, it's okay, just go to Waffle House 8 times a day and take a pill, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But it can help give you a little kick in the pants, though.
Okay, Dad, there's a difference. I mean, I would never recommend using, unless you're morbidly obese, of course. But look at what you did last year. You did it the old-fashioned way, and were successful. You didn't take any pills.
Right.
You didn't take any medication. You lost, what did you lose, about 60?
I lost 50 pounds last year.
Okay.
I'm working on gaining it all back, unfortunately. And when that happens, we'll do it again.
Now, there is something to be said for getting, like you're saying, a kickstart. You know, if you can just get a kickstart, notice, because you want that quick, instantaneous feeling of, oh, this is really working. And then, but it's like the habits that you form afterwards that you have to keep going and going. You can't like fall back into drinking 18 beers a day and eating Big Macs 5 days a week.
You're judging me? You were looking right at me when you said that. You're judging me all of a sudden?
You're asking me if I'm judging you about how much beer you drink? Really? No.
So 30 seconds or less. Would you take this pill, Nige, if you knew one of the side effects was anal leakage?
Where did that come from?
I'm asking the question. You got 20 seconds.
If I could lose immediately and then follow my
10 seconds.
No, I'm not taking any drugs.
I'm still in.
I'm not in.
I'm still in.
Thank you.
It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
Mother, also called mom, doubles as chauffeur, ATM, and someone with great advice and unconditional love. This Mother's Day, make her day with fine jewelry from Shane Company. We have gifts for every mom, and everyone special in your life who's like a mom to you. What's great about Shane Company is our endless selection of options. With so many diamonds and colorful gemstones to choose from, we can help you create a one-of-a-kind necklace for mom. Pick a favorite color or choose a birthstone to represent each family member. We source our gemstones from around the world and hand-select the most beautiful ones, so whatever you create for mom, it'll be awesome. Something personal that reflects her style and all your love. When's her birthday? We have Zodiac Charm necklaces for every sign. Visit us today or shop online at shaneco.com and get free express shipping. Whether you spend a little or a lot, you're going to crush it with a Mother's Day gift from Shane Company.
Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Maintenance is going to drastically increase the efficiency and performance of your system. It's also going to significantly improve the longevity of it. People think that they are saving money by skipping their maintenance, and in reality, they're just shaving years off the life and increasing the consumption of that unit, spending a lot more in the long term.
Get your tune-up today at Family Heating and Air, your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
We buy any car. We buy any car. We buy any car. Any.
Trading in or selling your car, truck, or SUV? WeBuyAnyCar.com takes the hassle out of selling in 3 easy steps. 1. Get a free online valuation. 2. Drive to your local car buying center. And 3. Walk out with a check in about an hour. So don't wait. Get your free online valuation now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Find out how much your car's worth at WeBuyAnyCar.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
A break in your commute. 55 degrees. Mostly sunny at Monument Circle. All clear on the radar. Rain expected around 9 tonight. A low of 38 later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 3:32. The Indiana Department of Transportation is reopening I-65 through the North Split interchange this weekend. John Herrick reports it's not going to happen all at once.
First, they'll take care of the northbound lanes. Then they'll reopen the southbound lanes of I-65. They hope to have all lanes open by Monday, weather permitting. Once they get that done, the detour on I-465 will be lifted. If you drive in that area, NDOT says you can expect multiple short-term lane restrictions as they install pavement markings and move barrels to open the lanes. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Democrats in Indiana's legislature are not happy with a budget proposed by Republicans in both chambers.
We have a $1.5 billion over our revenue forecast. And we can't fund public health at the rate for people. It's not sensible at this point.
State Representative Greg Porter, he says Republicans are penny pinching too much on health care. Governor Eric Holcomb requested $350 million for public health. Republicans Republicans allocated $225 million in their proposal, which will be voted on later. WNBA star Brittany Griner says she's done playing basketball overseas.
I can say for me, I'm never going overseas to play again unless I'm representing my country at the Olympics.
Griner was behind bars for 10 months in Russia after cannabis vape cartridges were found in her bag at an airport near Moscow. She was part of a prisoner swap to get her back to the States. The man suspected of leaking U.S. intelligence documents is requesting release from pretrial detention. Jack Teixeira says he's not a flight risk and is asking a judge to release him on the least restrictive conditions, saying the government is making hyperbolic judgments about his case. For Take Your Child to Work Day, President Joe Biden says he's hopeful for the next generation of Americans.
The generation of Americans, from you guys to people all the way to their late 20s, is the most open, the least prejudiced, the best educated, and the most giving generation in American history.
The president also called his job the greatest honor of his life. Traffic and weather is next. Your time is 3:34.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve, so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
With traffic at 3:35, here's Matt Bear.
Yeah, we're down in Johnson County right now. Northbound lanes of 65. Crash at Worsville Road with 2 right lanes are blocked. We are stop to stop and go almost to State Road 44. That's about 6 miles. US 31 is a better option. We have a truck stuck underneath a bridge. It's eastbound Washington at 465 on the east side. The whole thing isn't closed, but the left lane is. Could slow you down. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Dry until about 9 p.m. Then showers move in and continue overnight off and on. 60 this evening, down to 52 by tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist David James for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox. On the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Hammer and Nigel Show.
So Tucker Carlson put out a video last night on his Twitter. I think he dropped it right at 8 o'clock as his former show would just be going on the air. I liked the message of the video. Basically, Hammer, here's what I took from it. If you speak truth to power and you have an audience, then you have true power. You have the true power. You have the influence, and the establishment is terrified of you. So I find it interesting you mentioned corporate media in this. It was a 2-minute video, talked about the generally accepted orthodoxy and how I thought it was an upbeat and positive
Well, here,
thing.
let's play a little bit of it. Let's not give it all away here. Let's play a little bit of it. This was what Tucker put out last night. We're going to play 2 different clips here. Tell me what you take away from this first part.
Good evening, it's Tucker Carlson. One of the first things you realize when you step outside the noise for a few days is how many genuinely nice people there are in this country. Kind and decent people, people who really care about what's true, and a bunch of hilarious people also, a lot of those. It's got to be the majority of the population, even now. So that's heartening. The other thing you notice when you take a little time off is how unbelievably stupid most of the debates you see on television are. They're completely irrelevant. They mean nothing. In 5 years, we won't even remember that we had them. Trust me, as someone who's participated. And yet at the same time, and this is the amazing thing, the undeniably big topics, the ones that will define our future, get virtually no discussion at all. war, civil liberties, emerging science, demographic change, corporate power, natural resources. When was the last time you heard a legitimate debate about any of those issues?
So that first part was basically just, hi, I'm back. It's 8 o'clock. That's kind of what I took away from it. It felt like a normal Tucker Carlson monologue.
But he even admitted we're debating about a bunch of stupid stuff in this country. We're all worried. We're all concentrating it on some trans individual and a beer company when we should be talking about these other things. And I noticed that he admitted, even when he said that some of the debates are stupid, I know I participated in some of them.
Yes.
Which I thought was big of him to say when you have these other things. And notice, again, he mentioned, I think he said corporate media or corporate outlets or something like that. I thought that was interesting.
Now, the second part, to me, the ending of this was the most important and more interesting part.
Both political parties and their donors have reached consensus on what benefits them, and they actively collude to shut down any conversation about it. Suddenly, the United States looks very much like a one-party state. That's a depressing realization, but it's not permanent. Our current orthodoxies won't last. They're brain dead. Nobody actually believes them. Hardly anyone's life is improved by them. This moment is too inherently ridiculous to continue, and so it won't. The people in charge know this. That's why they're hysterical and aggressive. They're afraid. They've given up persuasion. They're resorting to force. But it won't work. When honest people say what's true, calmly and without embarrassment, they become powerful. At the same time, the liars who've been trying to silence them shrink, and they become weaker. That's the iron law of the universe. True things prevail. Where can you still find Americans saying true things? There aren't many places left, but there are some, and that's enough. As long as you can hear the words, there is hope. See you soon.
See you soon.
Yeah, and that's that truth to power part I was talking about. That's what I really gleaned from that entire thing.
So I think what you're going to see now are a lot of very established, old school swamp monster Republicans and donors and groups going after Tucker Carlson, trying to bury him while they think that he's down. You've already got some Republicans ripping him. That Ben Domenech guy, who's Mr. Meghan McCain, it's her husband. He's a Fox News contributor. You see him on there from time to time. He's fat. He goes on Twitter and starts ripping Tucker last night, making fun of his video, basically.
Geraldo put out a pretty scathing tweet about Tucker Carlson, including some January 6th stuff.
So it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. And we're not the only ones talking about this. Dan Bongino, who was also let go over at Fox, he still has his podcast. He talked about it as well.
You are going to see an orchestrated campaign to take out Tucker Carlson. Now, there are two reasons for this. Number one is the orchestrated campaign to take Tucker Carlson out before he can join another outlet and start voicing his opinions, which establishmentarians and swampies find dangerous. There are establishmentarians and want nothing more than this guy to disappear. The Pentagon, but go to your computer, go to your phone, and just put Tucker Carlson, Pentagon. Interesting how Pentagon people we pay with our tax dollars are now commenting about a news figure in the media. The military's doing that? What is this, the North Korea? Like, well, we're glad Tucker Carlson's gone. We're glad he's out of here. Oh, you are? Keep that war machine going, baby. Keep it going. Bomb everybody. Bomb this guy. Bomb that guy. Bomb it. You get a bomb. You get a bomb. You get a bomb. We get a paycheck.
That's exactly what we were talking about yesterday on the show. The Pentagon actually commenting on this.
Right.
I don't want to know what they think.
Right. About a news figure.
Yeah.
Not a world leader. Not somebody that's threatening the United States. A news figure. Here's a little bit more from Bongino.
So this orchestrated campaign, which you're seeing right now, to destroy and decimate Tucker Carlson and his credibility, I want you to be very, very careful because they need to signal to other talking heads, you'll be next. They want to send a signal to any potential suitors for Tucker Carlson. Look, we're going to come after you. Well, you come after us. You know what? You're either in the free speech fight or you're not. That's okay. You can come after us in this whole free speech ecosystem all you want. The articles are going to look like this. They're going to be meant to attack his credibility. And there's a reason. The reason they want to take out his credibility is one thing liberal media journalists, hacks, goofballs, propagandists, and agitprop the specialists, one thing they know is that liberals don't have principles, but conservatives do. I get it that sounds like a cheap insult as a throwaway line. I promise you it's a statement of fact. It is a statement of absolute fact.
Vic Ferrari on the YouTube chat. Bongino, Tucker, Judge Janine, the new damn Yankees supergroup. Let's rock.
Who's the Ted Nugent of that group?
Ted Nugent. Ted stays.
By the way, just by looking at the pictures that came out of Tucker Carlson and his wife at his vacation home in Gasparilla Island, Florida, I think he's doing just fine no matter what happens. You see those pictures of him on that golf cart? Holy crap.
Yeah, when you're making $20+ million a year, you're going to be okay. But I want to go back to what Bongino was doing when he was rattling off all those names about what liberals are. It kind of reminded me of that scene in Ferris Bueller.
One thing liberal media journalists, hacks, goofballs, propagandists, and agitprop the specialists.
Sportos and motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads.
One thing they know is that liberals don't have principles, but conservatives do.
They think he's a righteous dude.
Kind of got the same feel to it. Kind of got the same energy.
Wow.
Now, we've been talking
wonderful.
a lot about Tucker Carlson, but let's not forget that Don Lemon lost his job as well.
I totally forgot until you just mentioned it. Hadn't even crossed my mind.
The good news is somebody has offered Don a job already. Rapper Rick Ross, the boss, Rick Ross, posted on Instagram while hanging out at his swimming pool and water fountain that if Don wants to be an employee of one of his 24 Wingstop locations, he can.
Just found out Don Lemon was terminated from CNN. Damn, Don. But guess what? The brothers got your back. We hiring in at Wingstop. And for some reason, I believe you know what you're doing with them lemon pepper wings. So, man, just send over your resume. Well, I'm going to make sure I get you in front of the right grill, brother. Stay solid, brother.
He don't take losses, Rick Ross.
I think it's hilarious he'd still make Don Lemon send over a resume before he hired him.
So, Hammer and Nigel show.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden in Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. Our stores are blooming with flowers, hanging baskets, bedding plants, perennials, annual containers, shrubs, trees, and much more. With so many colors and varieties, it's the best looking selection you'll find anywhere. Come see the difference. Why, you ask? Our plants are from top quality Midwest growers, many right here in Indianapolis. Check the specials on our patio furniture like all-weather wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, cast aluminum, teak, and more. You can even choose your own custom cushions on most sets. We specialize in excellent quality mid-price patio furniture that's in stock at our 37,000 square foot warehouse. All priced at 30% off. See our large selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and the Big Green Egg. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
Hey, good morning. You're heading to the airport, right?
Yep, thanks for checking. I like the car. How long have you been a rideshare driver?
About 3 years now, but I really enjoy it.
Isn't it hard to make money these days with the price of gas being so high?
Not for me. I use Upside, the free app that gives you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get real money back when you get gas with the Upside app?
Yep, I get real cash back every time I get gas.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make around $200 to $300.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code TIRE for an extra 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code TIRE for a 25 cents a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code TIRE.
I'm Mark Myers. I was born and raised in Greenwood, and I'm proud to call it home. I'm committed to serving our community. I was a Greenwood police officer for 14 years and still serve as a special deputy for the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. I'm Mark Myers. I'm running for re-election as your mayor, and I'm asking for your vote because I know how important safety and security are our family. Paid for by Myers for Greenwood.
Attorney Joe Cordell.
Divorce forces a father to focus on what's most important, his children. You may no longer be a husband, but you'll always be a dad. In the divorce process, this comes down to 3 key concerns: physical custody, decision-making, as well as financial support. Each of these is important, and it's important that you choose a lawyer that cares as much about these issues as you do.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Indianapolis area attorneys. 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1250, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families. Families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve, so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and you can get in on the action right from the first tip with FanDuel. And all customers right now can get that no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend when you bet the NBA playoffs. That's right. Just place a 3+ leg same-game parlay on any NBA playoff game, and you'll get bonus bets back if you don't win. You could take the Celtics money line, combine that with the over and Jason Tatum to score the first basket. If it hits, great. If not, you get bonus bets back. And when you do win, you get paid instantly, that money in your account ASAP. Just visit FanDuel.com/WIBC. It's really easy to get started. Visit FanDuel.com/WIBC to get that no-sweat same-game parlay every weekend of the NBA playoffs. That's FanDuel.com/WIBC. FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and present in Indiana. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at FanDuel.com/sportsbook. Gambling problem, call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Listen to Tony Katz this week, 6 to 9 a.m. for your chance to win 2 tickets to the GMR Grand Prix on Saturday, May 13th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. More info at WIBC.com.
Oh, you want to go to the Grand Prix? You guys want Grand Prix tickets? Well, we've got some for you. Saturday, May 14th, 2 tickets to the IndyCar Grand Prix, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, on the road course, and we're going to have a good old-fashioned race. Caller number 1 right now, 239-9393. Dial it fast, 239-9393. Caller number 1. You'll play a fun game coming up, Matt Bear.
Johnson County crash northbound 65 at Worsville Road. The right lane is blocked, and that is stopping us for about 4 miles right now. That delay slows down again at northbound 65 from Southport Road to Edgewood Avenue. Looking at eastbound 465, stop and go. Keystone Avenue to Allisonville Road, northbound 37 stopped at Epler Avenue. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center, and it's time to play One at the Track or Famous for Crack.
And now, time to play One at the Track.
Little Al wins by just a few tenths of a second.
Or Famous for Crack.
And the next time you get in trouble, call a crackhead.
One at the Track or Famous for Crack on the Hammer and Nigel show. Could be a crackhead.
In my mind, when I said caller number 1, everybody was like fumbling their phone, trying to dial it as fast as they could. And John was the fastest.
Wow.
John, you were the fastest dialer out of anybody listening to WIBC. Our signal goes as far north as Lafayette. We go as far south as Ohio, east and west, and you got through as caller number 1, John. How are you?
Yeah, and I did it driving.
Don't tell me that. Just some things are better left unsaid, John. All right. I'm going to give you the name of somebody. It's either somebody that has won a race at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway or somebody that's famous for run-ins with crack cocaine. You get 3 out of 5. We're going to give you the tickets, okay?
Sounds good.
Ryan Hunter Ray. Won at the track or famous for crack?
One at the track.
One at the track. That's right. Indy 500 champion. All right. Number 2, Simon Pagenaud. One at the track or famous for crack?
One at the track.
One at the track. Yes. He's won the Indy 500 and the Grand Prix. Get this one right. We're going to send you to the race. Ezel from the movie Friday. One at the track or famous for crack?
Most definitely famous for crack.
Yeah! There you go! Who's a big winner? John's a big winner. That's who you are. John, stay on the line. Allison will set you up with the tickets and have fun at the race, all right?
All right, thanks, guys.
You got it. Ezel, R.I.P. Ezel, no longer with us. The actor that played him died, I believe, in 2021. 55 years old.
He was the one that
R.I.P.
outed Smokey taking a number 2 outdoors.
Smokey, are you? I can't even say it.
The one that tried to, get the settlement from the convenience store. My neck, my back. I need $150,000. We'll settle out of court right now for some dollar and some envelopes. Top stories coming up next.
Dr. Trudy Fleer here with the 5G Home Recovery Podcast. Today, we're talking obstacles and obstruction. So many people are dealing with obstacles like walls, trees, even weather that can obstruct their T-Mobile home internet signal. Here's the thing. Nobody should choose between trees and internet. Nobody should be forced into an open floor plan just to get online. You can always choose internet that's reliable through walls. Just get Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/TMOFAX.
Now through June 21st, new customers can get started with 200 megabit per second Xfinity internet with Wi-Fi equipment included. It's all just $35 per month for 2 years with no annual contract. Or learn more about speeds up to a gig. That's up to 36 times faster than T-Mobile home internet. Go to xfinity.com/TMOFAX, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Actual speeds vary.
I don't like to walk downtown anymore. Only when I have to. Even during the day. There's so many out on the street, aggressive. I mean, I feel terrible for them, but at the same time, I don't feel safe. Every night, there's another story on the news. Another shooting, something violent. And it's not even in one area, it's all over the city. Just the other day, a woman was robbed at gunpoint at church. At church! I heard that so far this year, our murder rate is higher than Chicago. Chicago! I'm proud of Indianapolis. That's just not what I think of, what I think Indianapolis should be. The only thing I can think to do differently is I have to vote differently, starting now, until it gets better. So I'm going to vote for Shreve in May. Maybe Hogsett gets the message. Or maybe we get a new mayor in November.
Paid for by Shreve for mayor. Helzberg Diamonds presents The Guy Who Did His Homework. When it came to Jill's engagement ring, Brady knew exactly what to get.
Okay, so I came up with a design and showed it to all of our friends.
She'll love it.
Then he went to Helzberg. Their incredible selection of high-quality, lab-grown, and natural diamonds made creating that special ring easy. Her reaction?
I love it. Can't wait to tell everybody.
Everybody might know about it.
Be like Brady. Create the ring of your dreams at a Helzberg near you or at Helzberg.com. Ask now about special financing offers.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel vPro that's built for business, Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Tamer and Nigel for Window Nation. Everyone loves a smart investment, and there is no better place to put your money right now than in your home. Window Nation has the perfect offer for anyone with a home at least 20 years old. Protect and increase the value of your home and energy efficiency by installing new Window Nation windows. Window Nation is making it insanely easy to do so with 0% interest for 5 years. Plus, Window Nation will give you 2 windows free with every 2 you purchase.
Go with the window company that has installed nearly 2 million windows, including mine, by installers with over a decade of experience using only top-of-the-line installation materials, which is why 96% of all installations require no follow-up service. Call Window Nation today and lock in these limited-time savings when you need them the most. 866-90-NATION and pay 0 interest for 5 years. The life of your loan, and get 2 free windows with every 2 that you buy. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Coming up in 2 minutes, Indiana lawmakers are trying to decide how to spend your tax dollars. Someone was hit by a car on the interstate in Johnson County. And Indiana supposed to get some rain tonight. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 4 o'clock.
A train derailment in Wisconsin. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. Emergency crews still responding to the scene around DeSoto, which is near the Iowa border. Initial reports of a derailment into the Mississippi River and multiple injuries, but nothing is confirmed yet by officials on the ground. The White House says an updated migration plan is aimed in part at cutting out human smugglers by reducing unlawful migration. The U.S. opening new regional processing centers in Guatemala and Colombia, with more to come.
They reflect the president's approach on immigration, which is working closely with our partners to manage the challenge that we're seeing seeing together, not just us. We're seeing this in the Western Hemisphere, as we have talked about.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre also signaling they plan to continue deportations back to Mexico after the pandemic-era limit on asylum seekers ends next month. No decision yet from a judge on whether Massachusetts National Guardsman Jack Teixeira, accused of leaking classified documents, will remain in custody ahead of trial. His attorneys arguing against the Justice Department's assertion that he's a flight risk.
A factor in the judge's decision could be influenced by the prosecution's characterization of Teixeira, a man they say was heavily armed and put violent postings on social media. The judge expressed disbelief over the defense's contention prosecutors did not show that Teixeira intended to put the documents out to a mass audience. The judge could opt to keep Teixeira locked up or release him to house arrest.
Fox's Gernal Scott just getting reports that an escaped inmate has been captured after a jailbreak last weekend in Mississippi. 2 others still on the run, and a 4th was killed in a gunfight with police yesterday. On Wall Street, a big rally, the Dow up 524 at the bell. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
How they'll spend your tax dollars. 66 degrees with a few clouds downtown. All clear on the radar, but rain expected tonight. The low drops to about 38 later. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:02. Republicans in both chambers have agreed on a budget, though with only $225 million set aside for public health initiatives. That's far less than what Governor Holcomb wanted to see.
We felt like this was an appropriate number to see what the outcomes are, and we can measure the success of the programs.
House Speaker Todd Houston, more than half of the budget proposal goes towards education efforts, including expanding the state school voucher program. There was a fatal crash on I-65 in Johnson County near Whiteland this morning. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office says a person was hit and killed by a semi in the northbound lanes just before noon. That wreck is still under investigation. The Indiana Department of Transportation is reopening I-65 through the North Split interchange this weekend. First, they'll take care of the northbound lanes. Then they'll take care of those southbound lanes. They hope to have all those lanes open by Monday, as long as the weather cooperates. Once they're done with that, the detour on 465 will also be lifted. Indianapolis is supposed to get some rain today, says Andrew White with the National Weather Service.
Rain amounts don't seem to be too bad. We're looking at anywhere from quarter to half inch between tonight and early tomorrow. So that'll just kind of help get the lawns going again with how cool and dry it's been the last few days.
Rain could continue into Friday. There could be more over the weekend. A shortage of Adderall could impact you if you're on medication to help focus. Jaden Arnold reports.
There's a shortage of fast-acting Adderall in Indiana. Psychiatrist Dr. Greg Mattingly told Wish TV that there may still be some good news.
The good news is the field was already trying to move away from using so much short-acting stimulant. Short-acting stimulants work, but you have to take them multiple times a day, and they have a higher risk of maybe abuse, misuse, or diversion.
Hoosiers with ADHD are advised to talk to their doctors about other treatment options. The FDA says manufacturing delays and demand is why some pharmacies have run out of stock. Jaden Arnold, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:04.
Spring in Indy. And since 2001, Rhino Shield has been covering Indiana homes and businesses. Just ask Mike.
I was watching TV one night and saw the Rhino Shield ad, and I thought, well, if they can do a house, they can probably do a building.
And Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
So they came out and they gave me a price, showed me how the Rhino works, how it lasts, and how the guarantee works.
Business owners, you too can get the 25-year protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
They started on the building. They waited for us to leave, and they worked Saturday and Sunday so they wouldn't affect our business at all. This was the great part of it. I came back Sunday night, and you couldn't even tell they were here. There was no paint on the ground. They did a fantastic job.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl. Go Rhino.
Hey, don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
With traffic on the 5s at 4:05, here's Matt Bear.
All right, Harrison, looking at northbound 65 Johnson County. Before Worsville Road, that's a crash blocking the right lane. And traffic is stop and go for several miles right now, about 2.5. Looking at eastbound Washington Street on the east side at the 465 bridge, we have a semi that is broken down in the left lane right now. Stuck underneath the bridge, in fact. Westbound 465, stop and go from 65 over to 31 on the south side. Traffic sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Dry until about 9 p.m., then showers move in and continue overnight off and on. 60 this evening, down to 52 by tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist David James for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's rock it!
So this is interesting. I thought this all took place pretty quick, Hammer. Xi Jinping, China President Xi, sending a delegation to Ukraine for peace talks after a phone call with Zelensky. So I'm thinking, wow, something must have happened pretty quickly for, they announced they have this phone call and then they turn around and say, hey, we're going to send a China delegation to Kiev. Zelensky must have heard something on that phone call to negotiate a ceasefire, by the way. That's what this all is about. China's like a neutral player, a quote-unquote neutral player in this whole thing. So he gets on the phone with Zelensky the first time since the invasion began over, 18 months or so now, if I have that correct. So I'm thinking something must have happened that Zelensky liked. Two things here. You have the leaked emails that detail how America thinks Ukraine is in serious trouble. That may have lit a fire under Zelensky's butt. Oh, boy. maybe we should, quote unquote, negotiate, because up until now, there's been no willingness on either side to negotiate.
Right. First of all, I don't trust the Chinese Communist Party as far as I can throw them. Second of all, I think it's about that second point you brought up. The end may be closer than people think for Ukraine. Now, it's a big if, but if those leaked documents from that Teixeira kid are accurate from the United States government and the Pentagon, they were concerned that Ukraine's air defense systems might not make it through May. So maybe Zelensky kind of sees the writing on the wall here, and instead of having more deaths in his country or he doesn't want to surrender, but a very soul-sucking loss, maybe he's going to try to take this peace, I'm using air quotes here, offer from China and try to walk away saving face a little bit.
But what's in it for China is the key that everybody has to ask themselves. You have China's Belt and Road Initiative. They'd love to reinitiate those projects in Ukraine that kind of got shut down after the invasion began. China gets their hooks in a country, promises to build out their infrastructure, and when the countries can't pay, guess who owns you? China. So that's what's in it for them. But I don't believe there's anything. It's so American and so Biden-esque. Just imagine if this happens, which I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about. Imagine if China somehow negotiates, quote unquote, to use quotations, peace between these two, or at least a ceasefire, when we're the ones sending billions and billions and billions of dollars over there to help Ukraine fight Russia.
And it could be propaganda, but the Ukrainians have came out and said, yeah, we've analyzed some of the weapons, some of the bombs and missiles that have been going over here. Some of their parts are coming from China. So it's all of a sudden getting into bed with China, who may or may not be helping out the person that's bombing you on a nightly basis. You're right. This whole thing stinks. It kind of feels like a WWE wrestling handshake between a couple heels here. You don't trust anybody involved, but it's probably not good for you watching it on the outside. Earlier today, the parents of the Louisville bank shooter, they spoke out about grief, confusion, and more to Savannah Guthrie on NBC News. Now, remember, there is an Indiana tie here. The dad, Connor, used to be the head basketball coach at UIndy before having a very successful run as a high school basketball coach in southern Indiana. The gunman played for his father at that high school, was a pretty good athlete, played football, did track, I believe basketball as well, before having some mental issues, clearly, and ultimately shooting up the bank in Louisville. So Savannah Guthrie was the host here. She asked the parents of the gunman, why do they think it happened?
As we sit here, do you know why this happened?
I don't think there's any way to know for sure. We know that Connor was struggling with some mental health issues. I'm afraid that whatever we come up with as the cause still isn't going to make sense.
There was no clear tell. So this could happen to someone else, and we don't want that to happen.
That's why you're here.
That's why we're here.
So on the subject of clear tell, the follow-up question was, all right, take us through the days leading up. What happened before the shooting in Louisville?
In the days leading up to this incident, what did you notice about Connor? Was he struggling?
Yes, he called me on the Tuesday before the event, and he said, well, I had a panic attack yesterday, and I had to leave work. And I said, okay, well, what happened? What was the cause? I don't know. I don't know what it was, but I think I should take off a while. And I said, that's fine. We're here to help you.
Did you worry he was suicidal?
That's also inconceivable to me. He was willing to talk to me. He had told us before he would never do such a thing like that to us. I said, I want to see you. I had lunch with him on Wednesday.
The next day?
The next day. I set up an appointment with his psychiatrist. We met with the psychiatrist on Thursday.
You joined the meeting with the psychiatrist?
In fact, Lisa intervened and insisted that it get moved up.
And they thought we thought he was coming out of the crisis.
You know, a lot of times here, Nige, you listen to these types of interviews with parents of gunmen, and you think, okay, I don't necessarily believe the words coming out of your mouth. I think you probably ignored a lot of stuff, blah, 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 blah. But in this case, do you believe the parents? They had no idea. They were blindsided by this type of attack.
Well, obviously, they knew of his mental illness. They were talking about it right there. Todd and Lisa Sturgeon are the parents of the shooters. And look, man, I think I believe him. I mean, my main concern is obviously always for the victims and their families. But I do, I have sympathy and empathy for the shooter's parents who seemed like they raised him right. Trust me when I say you can do everything right as a parent, but your kid can still wind up broken. And that's a true thing, and it's tragic, and it's heartbreaking, and everybody's devastated. Everybody, from the victims' families to the shooter's family. Again, my main concern is with the victims and the innocent victims that played no role in this whatsoever. But yeah, boy, it seems like this parent, like you said, Indiana connection, successful college coach, high school coach in Southern Indiana. Yeah, it's rough, man. This is a rough one.
This is when Savannah Guthrie asked the parents when they found out about the shooting.
I picked it up, and that was his roommate letting me know that I'm not really sure about the details, but it was something along the lines of Connor called his roommate and said, I left some notes there. Call my mother. I'm going to go in and shoot up Old National.
He told his roommate?
I believe so. And he found the writings. And the roommate said, he has a gun. And I'm like, where'd he get a gun? We don't have guns.
What's going through your mind at a moment like that?
Unbelievable. There's no way this is happening. Please stop him. Please make sure nobody gets hurt. This cannot be happening. This is not him.
I get a call that says there's been shooting in there, multiple shots. And you go from praying for his life to praying that this is unimaginable, that he just commits suicide and doesn't hurt anyone else.
Imagine having to make that choice, or imagine saying that to yourself. Boy, I hope my son just takes his own life and nobody else's. That is something that I couldn't imagine that scenario to deal with as a parent. No way.
And this was a pretty powerful interview.
Yeah,
I'll give Savannah Guthrie props. Wow. I don't always like some of the things that she does at NBC, but she asked the right questions here. And the $1 million question was, what would you say to the victims of this shooting?
If you had a chance to say something to the families, what would you want to say?
We are so sorry. We are heartbroken. We wish we could undo it, but we know we can't.
Man, they're still broken up. You can hear it in their voices.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the families of the victims are still broken up as well.
100%.
But if you're a family of a victim, do you want to hear from the killer's parents? If they're mournful and sorrowful and devastated, do you want to hear from them? I don't know. I can't answer that.
Matt Baer standing by in the WIBC Traffic Center.
Johnson County crash clear northbound 65 at Worsville Road. Still a little bit slow for about 1.5 miles, but we are moving. Also cleared eastbound Washington Street at 465 on the east side. We had a truck under the bridge that's gone. Lawrence northbound 465 stop and go 70 to Penn Pike, then drags up 269. Traffic sponsored by Indeed.com. If you're looking to hire, look to Indeed. With Indeed's hiring platform, you can attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. Visit Indeed.com/credit. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
I think that's a really interesting question. Would you want to hear from the killer's parents? Even if they were heartbroken and apologetic, do you even care about anything they have to say?
There's a part of that interview where Todd Sturgeon said they are trying to find the right time to reach out to their son's victims in a manner that feels respectful. So I think they're very aware that there's people that might not want to speak to them.
66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center. We're going to have a little fun next. We're going to bring a little energy, going to have a good time. We're going to play a round of Is This Anything next.
All right, this is it. Final days, final hours of Diamonds Direct's amazing once-a-year spring store-wide sale. Everyone's loving this, but the time is of the essence, really. You have until this Sunday at 5 o'clock to take advantage of 20% savings on virtually everything in the store. You've been hearing all about it. People have been traveling for hours to come to Diamonds Direct. This is the main event of the year at Diamonds Direct, for sure.
The big deal ends on Sunday. So, guys, if you've been thinking about popping the question, maybe updating the wedding band, or maybe you're going to buy that awesome graduation gift for somebody, graduation right around the corner, time is running out. Get to Diamonds Direct by this Sunday. Ask about special, flexible finance options, too. Up to 60 months. This is the deal where you're going to save the money. DiamondsDirect.com or stop by Keystone at the Crossing. Diamonds Direct. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. We're believers in Bill, and now we're clients too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets.
To learn how you could get your 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. Reach out to Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Why does We Grow Hair Indy have the best hair transplant results? Because they have the best technology. And I'm living proof of it. This is Rob. I'm out and about in the community for this radio station, and I feel so much better because We Grow Hair Indy has the technology that restored both my hairline and my crown area. And this year, they can restore yours too. Call them right now at 317-522-2995. Here's Darren Andrews to explain.
Having that strong hairline again completely changes the way you see yourself. It makes a huge difference. A lot of people think the crown cannot be transplanted. It's actually an area of specialty for us with our multi-unit hair grafting.
My hair is going to grow the rest of my life. I'm very happy I called We Grow Hair Indy. Call right now for your free evaluation. 317-522-2995. That's 317-522-2995. WeGrowHairIndy.com. The gold standard in hair restoration.
Hey guys, it's Abdul, and I'm running for mayor of Indianapolis. You see, all my adult life, I believed in leaving things better than when I found them. As an attorney, I worked to leave my clients in a better position. As a teacher, I worked to leave my students better educated. And as a political commentator, I worked to leave my audience more informed. Now I'm running for mayor because I want the city to be in better shape. So go to AbdulForIndy.com and read about our plans to take a tough but smart approach to dealing with crime, our creative approach to road funding, and restoring public trust in government. You know, we all deserve a great city to live in, and together we can make that happen. It's not just talk, it's a plan. Paid for by Abdul for Indy.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hammer and Nigel here, inviting you to join us as we kick off the weekend every Friday around 5:45 with Beer Sample Friday, brought to you by our friends at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Danville.
Hammer and Nigel presents
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Is this anything?
All right, let's rock and roll.
Hammer, how do we play Is This Anything?
I'll run some stories by you. You're going to weigh out the pros against the cons. You will be the one to give us a verdict. Is this story anything or not? Now, this first one is kind of an update from a story we had yesterday. So a town in New Jersey has a new policy that if you're a pain in the butt If you're arguing with the umpires in a Little League game, not only will you be kicked out of the ballpark, but you will be banned until you umpire at least 3 games so you know what it's like. This is the Little League president and a parent talking about the new and controversial rule.
They're coming here, they're being abused, they don't need that, so they're walking away. You are not allowed to come onto our complex until you complete 3 umpire assignments. Once you do that, then we'll let you come back.
If the parents are going to be sitting there yelling the whole entire game, they might as well use that energy like out on the field.
Yeah, I was wondering about, we had mentioned this briefly a couple days ago, and I was wondering what the parents thought about this. And then I was thinking, well, do you want the guy that was berating an umpire actually out there doing the umping? And what kind of training are you going to have to get? If that's the policy, you can't just go out. I mean, you could go out there and be an umpire, right?
Yeah.
But you don't have any formal training in that, do you?
I could do an umpire at a Little League game. I couldn't do a high school game or anything like that. No. You have to go through and get certified and do all that kind of stuff.
All right. So Little League. So this is the Little League umpire.
Like high school kids can umpire Little League games.
Okay. So you're okay with this as a baseball parent? In terms of dealing with Little League, you're okay with having civilians, quote unquote. I mean, I know they're all civilians.
Yeah, that's
all
everybody.
Moms and dads.
Right. Everybody that umpires at the Little League level is probably just some volunteer in the community or a parent.
That's the way it works.
Or like I know in a lot of communities, like the varsity baseball players of the high school team get their community service work in by being umpires for the Little League.
Does anybody get actually paid?
Yeah, some of them do.
Really?
I mean, we're not talking big bucks here, like maybe $25, $35 a game. But yeah. Now, not every place pays their volunteers. There might be some dude that's like, you know what? I'm just here to help. I want the kids to have a good time. I'm thinking of this as the other way around. If I know the heckling pain in the ass parent is going to be the umpire, I'm going to go and give him a dose of his own medicine. Are you blind? What's your strike zone at, Blue? You suck. Like just over and over again. Give him a taste of his own medicine.
But then you're going to be kicked out until you go ump some games. It's worth it to you, probably.
That's a price I'm willing to take, Nige. I'm for hire. So if this happens in your community and you need a good heckler to give somebody a dose of their own medicine, you guys know where to find me.
And this is probably one of the most unique solutions to a problem I've ever seen in this realm, in Little League Baseball. And I'm just wondering how well it's going to work.
Is this anything? A Georgia man has been charged after blocking the path of a school bus and demanding the name and address of a child who he claims flipped off his wife. The whole ordeal was about 30 minutes long. Here are the 2 mothers of the kids on the bus, April and Scarlett, talking about how they witnessed this bizarre bird flipping situation.
Everything goes through your mind. What if my child is hurt? I'm just flabbergasted that a grown man would have that kind of response in front of children.
I had no idea what he was capable of if he had a gun on him.
Yeah. That's something. It's pretty scary when somebody does that. I used to do it all the time, though, when I was a kid on the bus, especially sitting in the back as I got older. Because the back door of the bus has, like, the lower window and the upper window, right? And I would just kind of... I would just kind of just stick my middle finger down there and just hold it down there for like 5 minutes at a time. I remember clearly when I was in 6th grade getting bussed back from North Salem to Liston, I would just sit there and like kind of in the back, just have my middle finger just sticking right out. I mean, most people would pass us, or I'd look back there, most people would laugh. Nobody ever tried to cut the bus off and find out my name and phone number. But yeah,
so
I remember
you were basically the Bender in the Breakfast Club of your elementary school, right?
I wasn't that bad. No.
Hey, smoke up, Nigel.
Oh, God, that's hilarious.
Is this anything?
The guy was arrested, by the way. That's the part of the story, charged with disruption or interference with operation of public schools.
Is this anything? Kenny Chesney was asked if he'd ever be interested in performing at the Super Bowl. Take a listen.
I'm not saying if I was asked to do the Super Bowl, I would say no, but I still feel like it's the kiss of death. Look, Springsteen did it and did great, but they slammed him. I mean, they slammed everybody. I know career-wise it might be great. If I've got the choice to have all that stress leading up to it or sit in the suite with my dad and have a beer and watch the game, I'm probably going to do that.
Interesting. That anything?
Oh, come on. You got the chance to play the Super Bowl and you're worried about what other people are going to say about you? You're a professional. You're a superstar. The biggest name ever in modern-day country music, I feel like. Or at least in past, 2 decades, especially late 90s, early 2000s. Come on. I understand about sitting in a suite drinking beer with your old man watching the game, not having to stress about it, but what's stress?
Right.
Even
if your performance sucks, you're still going to be a multimillionaire and people will still go see your shows.
Exactly. You get asked to perform at the Super Bowl, you say yes.
I don't think I've ever heard an answer like that.
Yeah,
that's bizarre. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Today's kids and teenagers are facing more challenges than generations before. Culture is questioning basic, unchanging truths. Many parents are looking for direction to lead their kids and teenagers onto right paths. I'm Tina Pavey, Director of Next Gen Ministries at Life Church. We believe parents have what it takes to lead their kids and teenagers on a path that leads to life. And each Life Church campus is eager to partner with parents. For more information, visit one of the Life Church campuses or go to lifechurchin.com. Parents, you can do this. We will help you.
Mark Diedel's a pro, just an expert real estate agent. Mark Diedel's guarantee is this. He guarantees your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or he's going to buy it. After Samantha in Fairland's father passed away, she needed to sell his home and estate, but wasn't sure where to start. Heard about Mark Diedel on our show to call to see what they could do, and they made it easy and handled everything with compassion and professionalism. Had the home sold one day for cash, closed in under 3 weeks.
There's only one agent that we recommend and that we trust here on the Hammer and Nigel Show, and that's Mark Diedel. Mark Diedel has the guarantee that he'll sell your home, and if he can't do it, he'll buy it. That is the Mark Diedel guarantee. That's what separates him from everybody else. That's what makes him the best. 317-755-4232 or go to markdiedel.com. That's Mark, D-I-E-T-E-L, markdiedel.com. Be sure to tell him Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This is Scott Willis running for mayor of Westfield. As a colonel in the United States Marines, I stood up for our country, our families, and our values. As mayor, I have the leadership and vision to make Westfield a world-class city. How do we build a world-class city without losing the qualities we love? We do it with transparency, integrity, and smart leadership. I am a lifelong Republican. I'll work to diversify our tax base and to lower residential taxes. On Election Day, experience matters. I'm Scott Willis, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Willis for Westfield.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Not pleased with the budget. 66 degrees, partly cloudy in downtown Indianapolis. Nothing on your radar, but rain is expected later. Lows drop to about 49 tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 4:30. Democrats in Indiana's legislature are not happy with the budget proposed by Republicans in both chambers.
We have a $1.5 billion over our revenue forecast. And we can't fund public health at the rate for people. It's not sensible at this point.
State Representative Greg Porter says Republicans are penny pinching too much on health care. Governor Eric Holcomb wanted $350 million to be allocated for public health. Republicans were over $100 million shy of that in their proposal, which will be voted on later. Some good news for your commute. I-65 is reopening through the North Split interchange this weekend. NDOT says the northbound lanes will be open first, and they hope to have all lanes cleared by Monday if the weather cooperates. Once that's done, the detour on 465 will be lifted as well. A cargo train has derailed along the Mississippi River in Wisconsin, and there are reports of injuries. It happened in Ferryville, which is near the border between Wisconsin and northern Iowa. Video shows train cars in the water. First responders are on their way to the scene. A different day, but the same response from the White House.
House Republicans are holding our economy hostage and threatening default.
crashing the economy, jeopardizing hardworking Americans' retirement, and causing millions of Americans to lose their jobs.
Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre talking about House Speaker McCarthy's bill to raise the debt ceiling, which passed the House Wednesday. Biden said he'd veto that package if it ever made its way to his desk. The average price for gas in Indiana today, $3.57 per gallon, according to GasBuddy.com. That's below the national average of $3.63. A good day for stocks. The Dow up 524 to 33,826. The Nasdaq finishing up 287 to 12,142. And the S&P 500 up 79 to 4,135. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 4:32.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve, so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
With traffic at 4:33, here's Matt Baer.
All right, Harrison, we have a crash on the west side, 10th Street. It's going to be 10th Street just to the east of Country Club Road. Also a crash north side, College Avenue at 86. Crash downtown west of Merrill. That's just to the north of McCarty. Northbound 65 still slow to stop and go in parts from County Line Road up to Thompson Road because of an earlier crash that has cleared. And northbound 465 on the east side, stop and go from 72 Penn Pike. We drag to 69. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Dry until about 9 p.m. Then showers move in and continue overnight off and on. 60 this evening, down to 52 by tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist David James for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer right over there with a special guest on the DriveHubler.com hotline.
He is the sports director at Wish TV 8 AC, Anthony Calhoun, live from Kansas City. Big night for the Colts tonight, AC. What are we hearing?
Yeah, it is a big, big night, as you guys mentioned. You know what? We had a beautiful day here yesterday. Got a little cloudy today, but they're expecting over 300,000 folks to be here in KC.
Wow.
And what are we hearing? What do you think we're hearing? We're talking quarterback for the Colts. What do you mean? Well, we've been talking about since the season ended in January. I mean, who knows? You know, I was on the air yesterday talking about how, you know, been at Wish nearly 25 years, you know, covering many drafts. So this is one where I'm literally like, I'm not exactly sure who they're going to go with. You know, I mean, there's so many stories, speculations, things like that. It's a hard draft to try to dictate where the Colts are who they're going to go with because of the fact where they are, where they're picking at 4, and knowing the fact they got folks in front of them that are going to try to take a quarterback as well. But are you asking my opinion? You're asking me who I think they're going to end up with by the end of the night? You want that?
Yeah, give it to me.
All right.
This is it. This is the big pick. Where's the drum roll?
It depends on what Houston does. They're at 2, right? No, I think it's Will Levis. I do. I know a lot of other folks think that as well, but I just feel like, you know, the Colts have been monitoring him for a very long time. I mean, throughout his entire season there with Kentucky this past year, he had a tremendous workout for them, I'm told. We were there for his pro day. And just knowing where I think he's going to be and probably fall in this as far as the draft order, I just think it's either going to be between him and Richardson, I think. And I just feel like with the Colts, I mean, yes, they could go after Richardson, and he's great too. We know he's got tremendous upside. He hasn't played in a lot of games for us, only started 13 games at Florida. But I think in the Colts situation right now, and knowing some of the issues and just what a roller coaster ride has been with these quarterbacks over the years, I feel like Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay, they got to get a quarterback that can go like right now, if you will, for us ready to play week one. And I think with Levis, the fact that he's been in some pro offenses, systems the past couple of years, I do think he'll be ready. As far as Richardson, I think it's probably going to take some time, and that's nothing odd. I mean, he hasn't played in a lot of games, but
right.
So if I had to bet on this, I think it's Will Levis, but we'll see what happens. But it all depends on kind of what Houston's going to do with that number 2 pick too. They have a lot in play because if that happens, they don't take a quarterback. Then you have C.J. Stroud in play, and then that kind of changes the whole game plan there.
Do you get the feeling that Ballard actually likes the quarterbacks here? Like he's in love with whoever falls to him, and that's going to be the face of the franchise? Or is it more of a situation of, man, we have to get a quarterback? I might not necessarily be in love with this pick, but this town's going to riot if we don't get a quarterback in this draft.
I mean, think about it. I mean, listen, if they don't pick a quarterback tonight, yours truly, trust me, we all will be talking about that. I mean, the whole, Colts Nation will. I think it's pretty evident from what has occurred over the past few weeks, the fact they didn't move from 4 to 3. And everyone says, well, trade with Houston. Like, come on, like they're really going to trade with Houston. I mean, like Houston's really going to give him a guy that can come back and beat him for the next, 15 years or whatever.
Right.
I think though with them is that I think they feel like, hey, if it's Richardson, if it's Levis, we're game, we're good. Because I feel like this: if you have a guy there that you want, if Levis is your guy or Richardson is your guy, I think you got to move up. I think you got to, if that's the guy you want, hey, you just move that one spot. Go get it. Go get that person. But it sounds like, it appears to me that, hey, I think they're kind of cool with, any one of those 4. Well, any one of those 3, I guess, because we're pretty sure Bryce Young he's headed to Carolina with Frank Reich. But, it's going to be interesting, though, man, because, as I go back before, you guys have lived through this roller coaster. I mean, there's one position they got to get right, and they got to get that quarterback position right. And this is a huge decision for this football team. And the one thing about Richardson, I got a chance to meet him yesterday. Great guy. Spent some time with him, talking to him. The only thing there's, it's like, you take a chance because you don't know really. There's not a lot of game tape. Whereas Levis, you kind of feel like, okay, you've seen some tape. You got Peyton Manning. He spent some time with Peyton. You kind of know a little bit more about him. And for the Colts situation, that may be the best option, where, Levis may can play right away, as I just mentioned, whereas, Richardson, I do think you're going to need a veteran quarterback that can, he kind of get behind and then, work his way into their system. Then, of course, get ready to, hopefully start. But, the other thing about Richardson, though, which is the positive is this, though, his upside is so huge that, this guy, hey, they may hit the jackpot with him as well. So it's going to be about Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay saying, listen, we know it's going to be another tough year, but we think we see gold. We see hope with this young man. Let's do it.
And then chaos ensues. You mentioned the possibility earlier. Do you really think, and I saw the same thing on ESPN over the weekend, one of their draft guys talking about Houston at number 2 not picking a quarterback. Is that actually a possibility?
Well, there's been talks about it, like the last few weeks you mentioned, and that could be a possibility for them because they may not be in love with any of the quarterbacks right now, or they could go get a quarterback later in the second round if they wanted to, So that is definitely a possibility. I think the draft, some of the boards I saw today, many folks still had C.J. Stroud going to the Texans, and then you also heard later this afternoon that Arizona's been in talks with some teams. One of those teams are the Titans, who love C.J. Stroud, apparently, and they may try to make a move to go get him at number 3. But, last night on Wish TV, I was fortunate enough to spend some time with all 4 of the, of the players, the quarterbacks. and all of them were great to deal with. I mean, very just nice young men, classy, all determined to excel at their positions at the next level, and very knowledgeable of the Colts. And they all had great outside Bryce. They all had they actually had some time spent with the Colts. They had good meetings with the Colts, good workouts with them, and they know there's a possibility all three of them could possibly who knows, one of them could land in Indianapolis to play for the Horseshoe.
Anthony Calhoun, Wish TV 8 sports director. He is in Kansas City. The NFL draft is tonight. Wish TV 8 is going to have coverage for you. Nobody does it better than AC. One more thing before we let you go, man.
Yeah, man.
In addition to the draft, I'm excited for this IndyCar series.
Yeah.
100 Days to Indy. It starts tonight. Now, I know they're competing against the draft, but this is why we've got DVRs and so forth. Tell me about this.
Right. Well, bro, I tell you what, that is going to be awesome tonight. I had a chance to see a sneak preview of episode 1 last week in Indy. And if you love IndyCar, or if you just love racing, just period, you're going to be all in. And it takes you places, on the track, obviously, but, behind the scenes, these families, these drivers, what life is really like for them, their wives, their better halves. You think about it, they all weigh in on just, what it means to be a part of the IndyCar series. Is awesome television. The folks who put it together did a tremendous job. And then mainly, these drivers, I respect the fact that these drivers let us inside, of their space, and you're going to see all that tonight. Tonight's episode is awesome. It's fantastic. And after you watch it on Wish TV at 9 o'clock, we got the defending Indy 500 winner, Marcus Ericsson. He's going to join us live tonight at 10 o'clock on Wish TV, just doing a recap of what you just saw at the 9 o'clock episodes. We're going to do this every week. This should be a lot of fun because there's some things that went on that, when you watch something, you're like, man, I wonder how that went, or, got different questions. Marcus is going to be there to really talk about that and just take us really more behind the scenes from that episode 1. So it's tonight, 9 o'clock, Wish TV. You guys' two favorite station, I know that. And it's be a good time, man.
Anthony, is it all work and no play for you out there in Kansas City, man? I've always wanted to go to the NFL draft. Always. It looks so much fun. But you're out there working. I mean, you're the sports director. Is it all work and no play, or are you going to be going on, mixing it up later tonight?
Get some of that KC barbecue in the mix.
Yeah, exactly. What's your plan?
Good question. It's all work.
Yeah. Okay.
No. Last night we did go to Q39, which is a great barbecue place out here in KC. Our photographer Jason Thompson and me had a chance to do that. We always try to do that whenever the Colts come here to play against Kansas City. Of course, it's playoff times. We always try to go there and eat the barbecue. Barbecue's outstanding. So we did that last night, and then today's really it's all about the draft and trying to do the best job we can to report back to the folks in Indianapolis. And it's a big decision here tonight. I mean, it's Chris Ballard. I'll tell you this. I get off the phone here. You guys got to go, but Chris Ballard, I asked him that question about last week in the draft. I asked him. I said, hey, I said, what's it been like for you? The process, new coach, and how are you guys handling it? He just started talking. And all of a sudden, he goes, hey, to me, a lot of y'all think it's more of a bigger deal than it is to me.
Yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, hey, I don't know about y'all. I know these fans think it's a big idea. I mean, it's a big deal. And I appreciate his honesty there and just being candid with us. But he may not admit it, but it is a big deal. And they know they've got to get this right. And we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it's pretty evident to me that they're pretty confident with all four of those quarterbacks. And so we'll see fans' reaction tonight and see what they think about it. But it's an important and a huge decision for this football team, and we'll see what happens here.
I mean, if he were really being honest, Ballard will look at you. There's a lot of pressure here, AC. I don't know what I'm doing. My job's on the line. I got Irsay tweeting things out. I'm freaking out over here.
I guess he probably was. He wasn't going to tell me that. But, either way you look at it, though, it's serious stuff, and as far as for the organization, and there's the deal though too. I mean, that's just if they didn't have such a a wild ride the past 10 years or 6 years, whatever it is, since Andrew left, you may not be, you may not, fans may not be feeling the way they are, tonight. I had a chance to talk to Chuck Pagano today on the phone. We were talking, and he mentioned one word to me, which I think he's right about. he's like, fans, they just want hope.
Right.
They want hope. Like there's hope that, this Levis or this Richardson, kid, are they giving us hope that this football team's in good hands down the road? That's what they want. And so, tonight, whoever they decide to go with, hopefully this individual is going to give these fans some hope and that it's going to be all right down the road. Not in year one, everybody. Have some patience, but kind of like the Pittsburgh deal, with their young quarterback. I think you watch them. You ask Pittsburgh fans now how they feel about their QB. They feel like there's some hope. They saw progress last year in him, and now they're getting ready for year two. They feel like okay. I think we got some hope here. So at the end of the day, I think that's kind of what they want to try to get done here.
All right, man. We'll let you get back to work.
All right,
Looking
bro.
forward to the coverage tonight. The NFL Draft. Wish TV 8 has you covered. AC, thank you.
Okay, guys. Take care.
It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
If today were the last day of your life, would you want to do what you're about to do today? As time marches on, the inescapable movement of the clock can change our perspective on life and our daily purpose. We all get there someday. In recent years, families I work with often ask, "What happens to me, Brian, if something happens to you or you decide to retire?" Every day I ask myself, does this still feel like a purpose that I look forward to, or is this starting to feel like a job? This is Brian Singer with Singer Financial. I feel blessed to still love what I do, but someday my purpose might shift to playing pickleball 24/7. CNBC reports that 73% of financial advisors lack a formal succession plan. That means that nearly 3 out of 4 advisors may be contemplating their own retirement with no transitional support for the clients who may have trusted them for years or decades. Fiduciary advisors put clients' best interests first. At Singer Financial, that means knowing how the individuals, couples, and families we work with will be taken care of for many more years beyond my retirement, unexpected disability, or death. Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. I'm excited to share that Singer Financial is now a part of Howard Bailey Financial, an Indiana-based retirement planning firm. We believe our integration with the Howard Bailey team is a giant step forward in our mission to be the last financial team you would ever need or want. Howard Bailey is a growing firm with a youthful, energetic founder and a cutting-edge planning process designed to help you transition into a work-optional lifestyle someday. Call us at 317-852-9153 to schedule a discovery visit and talk about your someday. If you're ready to plan for your best retirement, we should get together.
Investment advisory services offered through registered investment advisors Howard Bailey Securities, LLC, and AE Wealth Management, LLC. Working with Singer Financial cannot guarantee investment success or that specific financial goals will be achieved.
I'm Mark Myers. I was born and raised in Greenwood, and I'm proud to call it home. I'm committed to serving our community. I was a Greenwood police officer for 14 years and still serve as a special deputy for the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. I'm Mark Myers. I'm running for re-election as your mayor, and I'm asking for your vote because I know how important safety and security are to our families. Paid for by Myers for Greenwood.
This is it. The final days, the final hours of Diamonds Direct's amazing one-year spring store-wide sale. Everyone's loving this, but time is running out. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to take advantage of 20% savings on virtually everything. Big trunk shows all weekend with designers in-store. Save an extra 20% off rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, even engagement ring mountings. It's the biggest and best store-wide event all year with expanded hours this weekend, including open Sunday. Get all the details now at diamondsdirect.com.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard air dealer.
Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
Listen to Hammer and Nigel from 3 to 7 all this week for your chance to win tickets to the GMR Grand Prix on Saturday, May 13th at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. More info at WIBC.com.
Matt Bayer's got to look at the roads.
Northbound 37 South Side stopped F-alert at 465 because of construction. Crash north side, College Avenue at 86. Also one downtown West Street north of McCarty. Traffic sponsored by Indie Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Baer. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
The Hammer and Nigel Show.
My name is Nigel. Hammer right over there. This is a crazy story. A Delta plane had to make an emergency descent after leaky bathrooms jammed its controls and shut down the autopilot.
Leaky bathrooms, meaning water or something worse?
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked, because we have here at the Hammer and Nigel Show exclusive audio from that flight.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Just in case you need to bust a grumpy or unload some timber, I'm going to ask you to return your sphincter to the locked and uptight position. Unfortunately, we're going to have to make an emergency landing. So if you're in desperate need to churn the dookie butter, please find complimentary buckets under your seat. For those of you who prefer a more discreet option, we have a selection of hats and newspapers for purchase. Please note that our flight attendants are trained professionals who can help, but will be probably quitting after this flight. And remember, when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Or in this case, make do without a loo.
Make do without a loo.
Right.
By the way,
Okay.
I don't know about you, but I take certain precautions before I know I'm getting on an airplane.
Oh, yeah.
I don't eat a lot. I take a like an Imodium AD, like you know what that is, right?
Yes.
For diarrhea, basically.
Right. Diarrhea.
There's not much I can do about the cocktails. I mean, occasionally, if I'm on a flight, I'll have to get up and use, go number one. But dude, I take precautions every time, so that is not a factor.
I go to the restroom like a 95-year-old old man when I'm at the airport.
Yeah, before I get on the plane?
Right.
Before you get on? Oh, yeah.
40 minutes before, right before on. I just don't want to have to get up and go on the plane. Not because I'm against it. It just sounds like a lot of work.
It's a hassle.
Right.
And if there's turbulence, the airline attendants look at you cross-eyed. Now is not the best time to do that. I remember I had to take my kid when he was little and there was turbulence. Now is not the best time to do this. I'm like, all right, he could do it in here, he could do it all over the seat. What do you pick?
And then you might have the opportunity to walk in behind Toby Keith or somebody, and it's hot, it stinks. I don't know why it's hot, but it's like 80 degrees in there. It's awful. It's the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Hey, as much as I'd love being a homeowner, I'm lucky enough to be a homeowner. There's certain problems that come along with being a homeowner. Right now, we're going through this thing with my driveway where it's falling to pieces and we're going to have to get it replaced. So that's what I'm focused on right now. What I'm not worried about is my American Standard air conditioner. And if you need American Standard service, make sure and see
Family Heating and Air Conditioning, the Morris family and staff, ready to help you out this spring and summer. You could call Rachel, you could call Marcus, or you could call Malia today to make sure that AC is ready for the hot summer, hopefully hot summer that lies ahead. Family Heating and Air always encourages you to call them for a free second opinion, even if you've already got a quote from somebody else. If something doesn't look right, you could call Family. Nobody cares for you like Family. 317-577-8077. Family Heating and Air. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you. American Standard Heating and Air, built to a higher standard.
And I'm a proud supporter of my wife, Maggie A. Lewis.
who leads our family with a gentle heart and our community as a servant leader. Since becoming a member of the City County Council, I have watched her wake up every day before the sun rises, responding to emails and text messages from colleagues and constituents while looking out for the best interests of our son, Leroy Lewis IV, including driving him to school each and every day since he started kindergarten. We call our family Team Lewis, but Maggie believes all those she serves are members of Team Lewis as well. Her passion for helping others is why on May 2nd, Election Day, we need to re-elect Majority Leader Maggie Lewis to our City County Council. She's a leader who is prepared, experienced, and dedicated, and not to mention a great wife and awesome mom.
Hi, I'm Maggie Lewis. Your vote does make a difference. So let us hear from you on May 2nd. Paid for and authorized by Maggie Lewis Campaign. Peter O'Coffer, Treasurer.
Man, do I love the job Galaxy Concrete Coatings did on my garage floor. My garage floor had not been taken care of. It was cracked. It was dirty. It was uneven. Galaxy Concrete came in there within a day and changed the whole look and feel and style of my garage. They don't use epoxy. That's the old stuff. The other guys use that. Galaxy uses polyurea, the new premium standard for coatings. 4 times stronger, easy to clean. You can check out their website to see pictures and get a quote, galaxyconcretecoatings.com, or give them a call, 751-9070.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
You are a pickle person, and the first time you got the McDonald's crispy chicken sandwich with those perfect rounds of pickle peeking out at you from the pillowy potato bun, you fell in love with crispy, juicy tender. Now, you are a crispy chicken sandwich pickle person.
Fall in love with the McCrispy Meal. A delicious McCrispy paired with medium fries and a refreshing drink like a premium lemonade. At participating McDonald's.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Tune in to WIBC's First Day Show each Sunday, 10 to noon, to hear about good things in Indy. Brought to you by Greg Cooper and Lisa Phillips with Crossroads Collective at Compass Real Estate.
Coming up in 2 minutes, John Herrick reports on part of Interstate 65 reopening. The teenager responsible for a school shooting in Noblesville may remain behind bars. And rain back in your forecast starting tonight. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You are listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 5 o'clock.
He remains in custody for now. Lisa Brady, Fox News. A judge in Massachusetts still deciding whether Jack Teixeira, the man accused of posting classified documents in an online chat group, should remain detained until trial.
Accused of violating the Espionage Act, prosecutors filed a no-holds-barred motion in support of detaining Teixeira, saying the Massachusetts National Guardsman may still have access to a trove of classified information that would be of tremendous value to hostile nation states that could offer him safe harbor.
Fox's Molly Line at the courthouse. The defense argues for house arrest and says weapons revealed in court documents had been kept lawfully locked up and have since been removed from the home. Multiple train cars have derailed in Wisconsin along the banks of the Mississippi River. No word yet on the cause or confirmation of injuries. House Republicans are challenging the president to work with them on border security.
When we return in May, the same week that Title 42 expires, we're going to bring a border security package and pass it through this House of Representatives.
Majority Whip Steve Scalise on a bill that will focus in part on having asylum seekers detained or sent home to await hearings. The Biden administration plans new regional migrant centers in countries including Guatemala and Colombia.
It's all part of our approach to direct people to legal pathways from where they are rather than seeking generous, disorderly pathways. We have been very clear. We are going to put forth an immigration process that is humane, that is orderly.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean Jean-Pierre says the new centers aim to cut out human smugglers and reduce the flow to the border. The end of a pandemic-era limit on asylum seekers 2 weeks from now is expected to lead to a bigger surge. The U.S. economy slows down, growing at 1.1% in the first quarter. In stocks rally, the Dow gained 524. America is listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level. On the go.
Helping out your commute, partly cloudy and 65 degrees downtown. Your radar clear for now. Rain expected to move through after sunsets. The low tonight dropping to about 49. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:02. The Indiana Department of Transportation is reopening I-65 through the North Split interchange this weekend. John Herrick reports that's going to be done in stages.
First, they'll take care of the northbound lanes. Then they'll reopen the southbound lanes of I-65. They hope to have all lanes open by Monday, weather permitting. Once they get that done, the detour on I-465 will be lifted. If you drive in that area, NDOT says you can expect multiple short-term lane restrictions as they install pavement markings and move barrels to open the lanes. Sean Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
The teenager responsible for the shooting at Noblesville West Middle School will remain locked up for a while longer. Prosecutors asked that the shooter stay behind bars after an incident inside the juvenile center that involved a female employee. A judge now says they'll reconsider releasing the shooter to home detention. They were supposed to be released when they turned 18. A 6th grade student in Greenfield may face criminal charges. Donnie Burgess reports.
Greenfield police and a teacher at Maxwell Intermediate School got a heads up that a student was showing off something that looked like a Glock 17. A Greenfield PD officer, who happened to be working at the school as a resource officer, was called in to check out the gun. It looked like the real deal, right down to the bullets, but it was simply a BB gun. The student, who's 13, won't be publicly named and is being disciplined by the school, say police. The Hancock County Prosecutor's Office will make any final charging decisions if they deem it necessary. Donnie Burgess, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Republicans in both chambers have agreed on a budget, though with only $225 million set aside for public health initiatives. That's far less than what Governor Holcomb wanted to see.
We felt like this was an appropriate number to see what the outcomes are, and we can measure the success of the programs.
House Speaker Todd Houston, more than half of the budget proposal goes towards education efforts, including expanding the state's school voucher program. It's supposed to rain tonight.
We're expecting rain to arrive tonight, and it's really going to continue off and on through the weekend into early next week.
Andrew White with the National Weather Service. High temperatures expected to be in the 50s and 60s this weekend. You're 1 minute away from traffic and weather. It's 5:04.
Your neighbor Mark loves spring in Indy, but he hates to paint. So he called Rhino Shield.
It's a 2-story home built in 1992. Around 2001, looking at needing to paint, I heard a radio ad, with Rhino Shield, you won't have to paint again for another 25 years.
That's because Rhino Shield's not paint, it's better.
They're very professional. We had everything done. Everything that would typically be painted on a house was done, and it was very fast.
All right, Indy, get the 25-year guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield right now for 15% off the regular price.
It was done in 2001 and still going strong. From what I've seen on our home, they can easily offer a 25-year guarantee and not worry about it.
Here's owner Shane Smith.
This offer is limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Traffic of the 5s at 5:05. What's going on, Matt Bear?
Harrison, I'm looking at northbound 465 northwest side. Stop and go before 86th Street up to 865. Eastbound 465 northeast side. Stop and go from Westfield Boulevard over to Allisonville Road. And in Lawrence, northbound 465 hits the brakes from 70 up to Penn Pike. Again at East 56. Inbound 65 slow around the hoof into the north split. And then westbound 465 on the south side. Stop and go from 65 to 31. Traffic sponsored by Inbound.org. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor, and elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Dry until about 9 p.m., then showers move in and continue overnight off and on. 60 this evening, down to 52 by tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist David James for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
Hammer and Nigel.
Can you believe these characters are weirdos?
So let's... One question for you, Hammer. I think you're the man to answer it. Why do local elections matter?
Because your local officials are the closest to your pocket, and they're the first ones to screw you financially.
Oh, they are? Wait a minute.
That's a textbook answer right there. And if you need any sort of proof, Exhibit A is what's happening here in the state of Indiana. So late last night at the Indiana General Assembly, think about all the things that your elected officials could be working on. Lowering property taxes, getting rid of that gas tax that goes up every single year.
No, they love the gas tax. Are you kidding me? They love that thing.
They voted to give themselves a raise late last night, Nige.
I'm sorry? Really?
The upper echelon of the Republican Party got raises last night. We're talking about the governor, the attorney general, all the good time party boys. So while you open up your property tax bill and your jaw drops to the floor.
Mine did.
When you realize that they voted to raise the gas tax once again, and they decided, you know what? Even though we're a Republican supermajority here, we don't think people should have to declare political parties for school board runs. What we're going to do is give ourselves raises. That's what happened.
Well, so wait a minute. I forget. They did this in the light of day, right? During regular business hours, when the press is there and people can ask questions, right?
This was late last night, Nige. Late last night, after the news cycle, when nobody's paying any attention. They jacked up the gas price. They got rid of the fact that, Republicans, Democrats, it's a school board. What could possibly go wrong, considering everything is going so well with the education system right now?
Sneaky little bastards.
Property taxes are through the roof.
Wow.
Property tax, fropperty schmacks. We're going to give ourselves raises.
Did you say fropperty schmacks?
I did.
Well, I can imagine our coworker Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey show is too thrilled with this revelation.
He is not scheduled to join us until 5:33. I can already see him out in the hallway. He's jumping rope shirtless and he's shadow boxing. That's how fired up he is to join us coming up, not only to talk about the Brownsburg school scandal, but these weasels that don't give a damn about you giving themselves raises late last night at the Indiana General Assembly.
That's shady, man.
Now, listen, I'm not one to just rip on them all the time the way that Rob is, but this is ridiculous. You jacked up the gas price again, the gas tax rather. You gave us a middle finger when we said, hey, Republican supermajority, can you make it to where they have to declare R or a D if they're running for school board? I mean, hell, the coroner has to do it. I don't think it's asking too much for people in charge of our kids. They didn't want any part of that conversation because teachers with red shirts showed up and wagged their fingers at them.
How much more are you paying in property taxes this year?
$800 more. $800 more. They said that my property value went up substantially. Nigel, it's probably gone down. We had a couple winter storms. I had a big-ass tree fall on a fence. It was laying in my yard for a while. And they said, it's substantially up. $800 more. So this is ridiculous. And I don't know if the answer is to start voting Democrat or getting Republican primary challengers to get rid of some of these weasels that don't have any backbone.
I mean, you listen to the Kendall and Casey show. Rob had multiple Democrats in here talking about the issue of property tax and what can be done about it.
So Rob's going to join us coming up at 5:33.
Yeah.
Here's another example of why local elections matter. Let's go to Minnesota, the state of Minnesota. A Democratic state rep in Minnesota, Representative Fang, is proposing a state-run database to track speech that they, meaning the Democrats, deem as hateful. And this could be anything from disputing where COVID came from, or if you see somebody wearing an I Love J.K. Rowling's t-shirt or an I Love Tucker Carlson t-shirt. Take a listen to this little back and forth.
Representative Vang, if a Minnesotan is wearing a T-shirt that says "I love J.K. Rowling" and someone sees that and reports them to the Minnesota Department of Human Rights as an example of gender identity or gender expression bias, is that something that the Minnesota Department of Human Rights should put in this bias database?
I think this question will best be answered by the lawyers. I'm not a lawyer myself. I think in the language of the provision, we have looked at the language to make sure that a substantial part of any incident has to be relating to bias and hate and motivated.
What?
And so I will, I'm not going to say a yes or no to that question.
It's a no. So if somebody wears a t-shirt that says, I love J.K. Rowling's because she's a conservative, this lunatic wants to put them on a database of hate speech in the state of Minnesota.
She's one of the most successful authors in the history of the written word, the Harry Potter series, right? And she has come out against biological males playing in female sports. And so she's a controversial figure, but this is ridiculous. So you're going to wind up on a database,
right?
Because
you have a picture of Tucker Carlson on a T-shirt.
Yeah, you
If
got it
you
for
walk
me.
around in Minnesota,
Hey,
you could be on a list.
You bought that T-shirt for me with the mayonnaise face, that Tucker Carlson is making. He's looking at you like you're eating a mayonnaise with a spoon out of a jar. That's what I like to call mayonnaise face. You deserve to be on a database too because you bought it for me.
My son has that shirt.
Yeah,
he wears it under his baseball jersy. He's going to, go to jail in Minnesota.
Put it on a database.
So ridiculous.
I mean, you could put, who decides that? We'll leave that up to the lawyers. That was that rep's answer.
And again, why do local elections matter? Somebody voted her into office. Now, I know Minnesota's a little quirky politically, but someone said, hey, you know that woman that wants to make a database of hate speech and it could just be a picture of a conservative on a shirt? Yeah, that's somebody that I want to hitch my wagon to. Where do I donate to that candidate? This is why local elections matter. The people closest to you have quicker access to your pocket, and they will screw you over way faster than Biden or Trump or anybody else. Now, speaking of Joe Biden, yes. Nige, I think you'll like this. Today is National Bring Your Child to Work Day.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now, the official intern of the show, Chris Hammer, could not make it. Jacob couldn't make it. Your kids have activities as well. Yeah. But
I didn't even know it was. I didn't even know it was that day.
It's a big day for Joe Biden. He had a statement earlier about Bring Your Child to Work Day. Take a listen.
Hi, folks. President Joe Poopy Pants Biden. It was Bring Your Child to Work Day at the White House. And I've been looking forward to this day for months. As many of you know, there's nothing that I enjoy more than the full-bodied aroma of young children. So I prepared for the day. I pulled the old neti pot out and got my nasal cavity good and clear. The children arrived and I went to town. Sniff, sniff, sniffy, sniffy, sniff, sniff. A few of the children cried, but I gave them each a butterscotch candy from my warm pocket, and they stopped sobbing. All right, I gotta go. I just wanted you all to know that I'm still a creepy-ass bastard. Hey, Nigel, do you like popsicles? What about you?
Yeah.
Do you like popsicles, fat?
Oh, come on! This is the second day in a row I've had AI Biden call me fat. Getting a little annoyed with AI Biden calling me fat.
Oh, wow.
Matt Bear.
Looking at that. Northbound 465 on the northwest side. Stop and go 86th Street up to 865. South side westbound 465 slows from 65 over to 31. And the eastbound lane stop and go right now from Kentucky over to the White River. Northbound 37 still slammed from Epler up to 465. It is a construction zone. We are down to one lane. Traffic sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Hat tip to our embedded reporter, Brian Baker, for all this amazing coverage of Joe Biden. 66 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Give your small business one tech solution that checks all the boxes. It's all here with the Comcast Business Complete Connectivity Solution. It's cyber threat security for peace of mind. Check. The power of the largest, fastest, reliable network for small business. That's a triple box check right there. And save up to 75% a year on your wireless bill with Comcast Business Mobile. Check and cha-ching. It's everything you need to keep your business connected. From the company powered by the next generation 10G network. The complete connectivity solution. Get started for just $49 a month for 24 months when you add mobile. And ask about an $800 prepaid card. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 5/21/23. Restrictions apply. Requires 2-year agreement, EcoBill, and AutoPay. New 100 megabits per second internet and security edge customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. Compares weighted average of top 3 carriers. Taxes and fees extra. Reduced speeds after use of monthly data. Savings vary.
Imagine if you could get a 35% bonus when you invest your money. If you invest $100,000, you get a $35,000 bonus. If you invest $200,000, you get a $70,000 bonus.
Hey, it's Kendall and Casey. Learn how you could get a 35% bonus from Bill Demery, your retirement guy. We're believers in Bill, and now we're clients too. Not only will you get a 35% bonus, you'll sleep well at night knowing your money is backed by an A-plus insurance company that's been in business for 140 years and has $2.5 trillion in assets.
To learn how you could get your 35% bonus, call 317-932-9912. Reach out to Bill Demery, your retirement guy, at 317-932-9912. 317-932-9912.
Hey, look, if you're about to get engaged or looking at wedding bands, this is your opportunity, but your opportunity is running out at Diamonds Direct because it's a huge sale going on right now. Everyone's loving this sale, but it's running out. Time is of the essence. You have until Sunday at 5 to take advantage of, listen to this, 20% savings on virtually everything in the store. We've been talking about it. You've been hearing about it. The main event of the year at Diamonds Direct is happening right now through Sunday.
It all ends this Sunday. Time is running out. It's the biggest and best store-wide event all year, expanded hours, and they're open this Sunday. So if you're looking to pop the question, maybe you want to get that special graduation gift, do it this week. Get to Diamonds Direct by this Sunday and take advantage of the savings. DiamondsDirect.com. That's the website. Or stop by Keystone at the Crossing by the Green Bridge. Diamonds Direct. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, this is Spencer Thompson at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. Now through Monday, save big during our indoor-outdoor sale. Save 50% on Smith Brothers and Lazy Boy. Up to an extra 15% off Hollywood and Berlin Gardens outdoor furniture. And up to $300 off Sealy, Stearns & Foster, and Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Now through Monday, save on everything in the store only at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus with free delivery.
Hi, Pat Sullivan here from Sullivan Hardware and Garden and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan. Our stores are blooming with flowers, hanging baskets, bedding plants, perennials, annual containers, shrubs, trees, and much more. With so many colors and varieties, it's the best looking selection you'll find anywhere. Come see the difference. Why, you ask? Our plants are from top quality Midwest growers, many right here in Indianapolis. Check the specials on our patio furniture like all-weather wicker, Berlin Gardens poly, Castle aluminum, teak, and more. You can even choose your own custom cushions on most sets. We specialize in excellent quality mid-price patio furniture that's in stock at our 37,000 square foot warehouse. All priced at 30% off. See our large selection of grills, Weber, Traeger, and the Big Green Egg. Shop, play, experience. Spring with Sullivan's. 71st and Keystone, 49th and Penn, Cicero, and Allisonville Home and Garden by Sullivan in Fishers.
This hour on 93 WIBC is powered by Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, your American Standard air dealer in Danville.
It's time to play. Is it racist?
So, Big Nige is here.
Hi.
Now, for those who may be new to the Hammer and Nigel show and you're wondering, how do we play the game? Is it racist? Here to explain the rules is AOC.
Is it racist? Is something racist, yes or no?
All right. Now that we're all on the same page here,
Yes.
Is it racist? A former WWE writer, the big wrestling organization, a former WWE writer has filed a lawsuit against the company claiming racial discrimination and a hostile work environment.
Wait a minute. What do you, WWE has writers? What do you mean?
People that come up with the storylines. Breaking news.
What?
The outcomes are predetermined.
You mean wrestling's fake?
The violence is real, but the stories are fake. Right.
All right. So what happened?
So this writer, former writer, Brittany Abrams, she is a black woman. She said that she was fired by the WWE last year in retaliation because she was pushing back against some of the stereotypical pitches that the other writers wanted to do in wrestling. Now, in the lawsuit, Abrams alleges that during her employment with the WWE, several writers made pitches that she thought were racist, including one of them where a Saudi Arabian-born wrestler would be the guy that helped orchestrate the attacks of 9/11. Also, in the lawsuit, she claims that a writer always made racist and stereotypical jargon and lingo for the women's champion, Bianca Belair, who is an African-American woman. So this former writer says all of these stereotypical, cartoony type of things made her uncomfortable. They were racist. She tried to push back, and she was fired as a result of it, Nige. Is it racist?
Well, I think the WWE, even going back as far as the WWF, anybody that's a long time fan of this product knows, especially back in the day with like the Iron Sheik, and it was there in Iraq, somebody from Iraq or somebody.
Well, there's Nikolai Volkov, who was like the mean Soviet, and then Iron Sheik from Iran,
and then of course the guy with the chains around his neck,
Junkyard Dog,
which there were several implications there, I believe. I believe the word was used in one wrestling match like a couple of decades ago. The word. You know what? I'm not even going to say the letter of the word because I don't want to get in trouble.
Now, to be fair, it was said by a black guy. It was Booker T that called Hulk Hogan the word.
Wow. We just say the word from now on. I'm not even going to say the letter.
But because it's fictional, it's storyline, like, can you complain that it's really racist when you're writing basically a soap opera?
Yeah, like when you are throwing ideas out there, you're just throwing stuff against a wall and seeing if it sticks. You can't have a filter. You're throwing ideas out there in these writers' meetings, these pitches.
Right.
Of course, if it's something outwardly racist, and that might be something different. I don't know exactly what happened behind closed doors here. I think you're partly right when you're in the back rooms and you're trying to come up with ideas, but at the same time, you probably got to be careful.
Now, if you're talking in the office, I agree. But if your product is based on crowd reaction, right? If you need a heel, I mean, are you going to boo the guy that said he helped plan 9/11? You probably are. The same way you would cheer when Stone Cold Steve Austin played the redneck character and went up there and drank beers.
The 9/11 one is interesting. I don't know that I'd invoke 9/11 in any sort of script in terms of wrestling.
I mean, if it's a fictional story, though, and that's what WWE is. I can't say it. WWE is. It's a soap opera for dudes. The storylines are fake. Now, the blood you see, the broken bones sometime, very real. People do get hurt.
Some people die.
Right. That's happened before. But are you really going to get upset and file a lawsuit because the soap opera story is something that you find offensive? Everything about wrestling is offensive. People going through tables is offensive, right? That doesn't happen in real life. When you get mad at Rob Kendall, you don't storm in the back and put him through a table, do you?
I would love to do that. That would be amazing. You just gave me a great idea.
How much money could we raise for the Salvation Army if we said top bidder gets to put Rob Kendall through a table?
And in walks Governor Holcomb.
By God, that's Holcomb's music. We're playing a round of Is It Racist here. How about this?
We were two white guys deciding on whether or not something's racist. I love it.
And I think I know the answer to this.
Okay.
Is it racist for critical race theory to be taught in veterinarian school? William Jacobson.
I'm sorry?
William Jacobson, he's the founder of criticalrace.org, put out a statement. Quote, DEI has penetrated deeply into the training of veterinarians who will take care of your pets based on claims that the industry was exclusively for white people. And as Cornell University says, building anti-racism and animal welfare is needed in this country.
Are they saying something like, I don't understand. They think white pet owners don't want African American veterinarians to take care of their animals, their pets?
What I took from that is this guy, William Jacobson of criticalrace.org, saying, oh, you think the veterinarian game is just a white man's game? Well, we're going to show you we're going to have black vets.
Boy, they're really milking the CRT thing for all it's worth.
I don't care if you're black or white. Can you fix my dog? Can you fix my cat, please? Yeah. That's all I'm asking. If you're Stone Cold Steve Austin or if you're Booker T, if both of you are well-versed in the art of veterinarian science, you're more than welcome to work on my animal. Which brings us to great moments in race relations history, Nigel.
Wonderful.
Remember when the TikTok influencer said that you need to ask permission for your token white friend to be around people of color because they might not be in the mood to deal with all of their white shenanigans?
If you have a token white and you're hanging out with your friend group of color, you need to ask permission from everybody in the group to bring your white friend. Like, don't just bring them. Ask for explicit permission from everyone, because just because you're comfortable with them doesn't mean that everybody's comfortable with them. They might not be in the mood to deal with white shenanigans that day. And another thing, it feeds into their ego. Like, don't let them think they're a good white person.
Okay, the WWE story, questionable, and then the white shenanigans story, yes, that is racist. Yes, I'm
white shenanigans.
I'm looking for a definition of white shenanigans, like your white friend shows up with the case of Zima or something like that.
He's dressed like a leprechaun. Who's ready for some white shenanigans? Like, if you and I ever get in a contract dispute with Urban One and there's a fight over the name of the show, if they try to say they own Hammer and Nigel, moving forward, this show will be called White Shenanigans.
Okay, let's do it.
Rob Kendall ready to go off the rails coming up right now. I'll look at the news.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's happening this weekend. 65 degrees, cloudy on the Circle. All clear on your radar. Supposed to rain later. You've got a low 49 degrees tonight. I'm Harrison Silcox. Here's what's trending at 5:30. If you've been fed up with North Split construction in Marion County, then John Herrick has some good news.
NDOT is reopening I-65, both the north and southbound lanes, through the North Split interchange this weekend. They plan on having everything open by Monday, weather permitting. Under the permanent North Split interchange configuration, though, there's no longer access to I-65 southbound through the Delaware 11th Street ramp, and access to the Meridian Pennsylvania Street exit is only available through I-65 northbound. John Herrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
A sixth grader in Greenfield could face charges after he was caught bringing a BB gun to school. The 13-year-old goes to Maxwell Intermediate School. They were caught showing the gun to another student, and that student told a teacher. A Greenfield police officer and the school principal removed the student from a classroom. They're being disciplined by the school corporation. The Hancock County prosecutor will decide on any charges. The Biden administration is helping Americans get out of Sudan, but a military evacuation is not planned. Fox's Jared Halpern reports.
U.S. officials say the security situation in Khartoum, Sudan, and the closure of the airport makes it too unsafe for a government-coordinated evacuation of private American citizens.
We have deployed U.S. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to support air and land evacuations routes. That is something that we have done.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says American passport holders who want to leave Sudan should do so now. She would not detail intelligence assessments concluding a government-coordinated evacuation is unsafe, despite several European and Asian nations organizing evacuation flights for their citizens. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Former President Donald Trump is campaigning in the early voting state of New Hampshire.
Next year, we're going to make history together when we win New Hampshire primary for the third straight time.
Trump also criticized Biden, calling him a threat to democracy. The average price for gas in Indiana today, $3.57 per gallon, a regular, according to GasBuddy.com. It's below the national average. That's at $3.63. With traffic at 5:32, here's Matt Bear.
Harrison, I'm starting to see a slowdown on northbound 69 before 116th Street. Keeping an eye on that. Inbound lanes are stop and go 96th Street down to 82nd. Northwest side, northbound 465. Stop and go traffic before 79th up to 865. And still grinding in Lawrence, northbound 465 from 72 Penn Pike. And again at East 56th Street. Eastbound 72 downtown, stop and go from Belmont to Meridian, Illinois. And that's a crash. College at 86. Another one downtown west, north of McCarty. I'm traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
And the forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Dry until about 9 p.m. Then showers move in and continue overnight off and on. 60 this evening, down to 52 by tomorrow morning. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist David James for 93 WIBC.
And I'm Harrison Silcox on the level on the go and on WIBC.com.
I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
And now, Hammer and Nigel go off the rails with Rob Kendall.
Noise pollution.
My name is Nigel. Jason Hammer is here. Also joining us live in studio, Rob Kendall from the Kendall and Casey Show. Here to go off the rails. Rob, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks as always to our segment sponsor, Garage Doors of Indianapolis.
Rob, you had just a wonderful show today. Some of it got kind of dark, some of it emotional. I loved your conversation with comedian Scott Long and his daughter Maddie in terms of her special needs and how it relates to the awfulness that happened in Brownsburg. I also want to ask you here later in the conversation, you had some surprising comments about Donald Trump that sort of raised my eyebrow. I want to know if you stand by those comments. I'll get to that. We'll circle back around and start in Brownsburg. By now, we all know what happened. Allegations of abuse. There's been arrests. Special needs child severely mistreated, to say the least. The details are awful. You brought this to our attention on the Off the Rails segment a couple of weeks ago. ago, and now it's all out there in the media. Arrests, charges, 5 different people. Tell me your thoughts initially on why it took so long for us to learn about this, that the incident allegedly happened in February.
Yeah, so you'll recall we broke the story, said this is a big deal. People need to pay attention to this special meeting that's been called. They got to call all the IS and public education, hater and whatever. A couple hours later, teachers have been fired, so we're right on that. Then told you guys here on this show what a very reliable source who had been my source throughout this entire thing told me about what happened with the alleged incident where the kid allegedly was forced to eat vomit. That's what the police report says happened. We got that correct. I wanted to be wrong. I mean, it's very rare you want to be wrong. But
I said that on the air when I opened up the show yesterday. I was hoping Rob Kendall was wrong about this whole thing. Unfortunately, you weren't.
Yeah,
nobody's doing a victory lap here or anything.
Well, and here's what the weird thing about this is. So there was then basically complete silence on this for like 2 weeks. And then when Hammer was on with me yesterday, we did a lengthy segment about this just complete bullcrap response that a citizen got from the police department attorney, which was some legal-y, just mumbo-jumbo nonsense. And within 2 hours of us going off on that, well, you can say it's a coincidence if you want, but within 2 hours of that, now there have been charges filed. So I'm not the person going, well, they just did it because we did that segment. But I'd like to think we're able to shine some light on, you guys have been dragging your feet on this. And that response from that attorney was bullcrap to that person. People have kids in school. They want to know what's going on. They want to know their kids are safe. And ultimately now it's resulted in, a couple of arrests.
And I've got so many questions. And we talked about this yesterday, Rob. There's still questions about hush money. That's something I think that's going to have to be talked about because that was one of the rumors early on. Can't confirm, can't deny, but there are stories that the mother of special needs child who does not speak very good English was offered X amount of dollars a long time ago as a hush money settlement. Have you heard the same things?
Well, and we'll see what comes out of all of this, but here's what should happen. Because we're told in the community in which we live, Brownsburg schools are infallible. They're the greatest thing ever. We're number one. You ask somebody, what does that mean? They can't tell you, but we're number one. So the question is, how does a school system in which you have a superintendent, Jim Snap, who rules that place with an iron fist, people don't breathe and he doesn't know about it, and the guy's making a 6-figure salary that starts with the 2, how does that guy for 2 months not know that allegedly 5 people are involved with a kid being forced to eat vomit? And here's what I was told yesterday by another very reliable source, which I'll take to the bank. The finding out of what happened and actually went down by the people who were able to kind of report it and get it going was almost accidental. How is that possible that in the supposed number one school system in the state of Indiana, you've got a kid, a special needs nonverbal kid, allegedly being forced to eat his own vomit, and for 2 months, this superintendent who rules the roost with an iron fist and is this infallible soothsayer of all things education just doesn't know about it?
Rob, you went to school at Brownsburg. You live in Brownsburg. You often talk about the community. You love that place. As much as you criticize some of the folks that are elected officials, you love that town that you grew up in and went to school at. What do you think about it right now with what's going on with this story, with the council members that are doing various things in your backyard?
It sucks to watch what was an incredible town and an incredible place to live be destroyed. And when you look at the track record of this school corporation here, this is the same superintendent who once stood up in a room full of people and said, we've got to raise taxes by $100 million or kids could get shot in the halls with an active shooter. Well, of course, that was totally debunked, and the referendum failed, and they still did all the construction. And then afterwards, I guess we were wrong. Same superintendent who said that unless he was able to continue to strong-arm money from the town through the tax increment finance district, that, a bunch of bus drivers could be fired. Wasn't able to do it. No bus drivers were fired. Same superintendent who looked a group of parents in the eye in January and said, DEI officer didn't work out. It's gone. It's not coming back anymore. A couple of months later, we find the DEI officer's back. But now it's under another name, Director of Student Learning. And when they get called out on it, they go, you're being very divisive. And, well, silly you, everyone has a DEI component to it now. This guy, Jim Snap, the superintendent, has been pulling this crap, this manipulative, deceptive, dishonest behavior for years. And he keeps getting a pass on it. Why? Because they use kids as human shields and go, ha, Junior's in the #1 school system. And he never gets held accountable.
What's that mean, #1 school system?
Yeah,
what are we basing that off of?
You're based on test scores, right?
Okay.
And they never talk about the colossal amount of people, even in the #1 school system, who actually fail that test. Not that the test matters anyway. Here's the thing, though. If Jim Snap were a decent person, because he failed that parent. He, the big guy, the tough guy, the top dog, the 6-figure salary guy, the guy who rules with an iron fist. He would go to that mother and he'd do it publicly if he were a man, and he'd say, I failed your kid. I failed and I'm ultimately in charge. And you know what he'd do? He'd give her 10% of his salary. I mean, if he were really a man, he'd admit that he failed and he'd quit, but that's not going to happen. But he would make sure that kid is taken care of for what he failed on. Because if you're going to be the top dog and you're going to be the big guy and you're going to be the guy that's the best at everything, then when you fail, and you fail on a level like this, and you failed for months apparently. This happened allegedly in February, and they didn't take action until April. He should have to pay up, but of course that's not going to happen.
Rob, looking ahead, I mean, you're about to become a father. I mean, you are a father, but I think the birth is in somewhere June and July, and I'm wondering if you've thought down the road, you and your wife, of how you feel about sending your kids to public school.
Yeah, my wife and I talk about this quite a bit. She is adamant that our kid is not going to public school, and that breaks my heart. Because I literally live next to the house I grew up in. I live in a house that I played in that yard growing up. Brownsburg is, and you talked about it, Hammer. I'm critical of the town because I love the town more than I can ever express. And when I see people pull bull crap and destroy the place that I grew up and love, I get pissed off about it.
You wear your heart on your sleeve. And again, I've told you this before. People ask me all the time, why does Rob rip on Republicans? Is he really just some liberal lunatic that has a microphone? And my response is always, Rob believes in conservative values so much that when people don't do it right, it ticks him off more than when liberals do things. And I feel like the same thing happens when it comes to your hometown.
This is the place I grew up. Everything I have is because of this place. My kid is going to walk on the same sidewalks and play in the same yards and drive on the same streets that not to make it sound like a Bruce Springsteen song, but I mean, it's real, right? And that's by design because I love this place. And so my wife and she is adamant, no public school. And when I talked to her, I said, well, that sucks because we pay all this money in property taxes. We pay all this money to the state in taxes, and overwhelming majority of taxation in the state goes to public schools. And yet between the videos that have surfaced of all these school administrators admitting that they're manipulating parents on CRT and DEI and SEL, and then you see stuff like this where a kid who couldn't defend himself was forced to eat his own vomit, and it took 2 months apparently for them to get to the bottom of it, and that was supposedly accidental that they even found out about it. I look at it and say, as much as I want to fight, because I'm a fighter, I really struggle with subjecting my kid to that possible risk. I can't put my need to be a fighter and my issues with the government over the safety of my kid.
Hey, Rob, can you stick around for a second segment?
Anything for you.
Other things I want to talk about, including your comments today about the age of Donald Trump and his decision possibly not to debate in a GOP primary. That next, going off the rails with Rob Kendall on the Hammer and Nigel Show.
Indiana has a long history of pioneering education freedom and empowering families who know what's best for their children. But as universal education freedom sweeps the nation in states like Iowa, Arizona, Arkansas, West Virginia, Utah, and Florida, Hoosiers are at risk of being left behind unless we act now. Indiana lawmakers have an opportunity to ensure all Hoosiers can exercise their right to decide what education is best for their child, where they learn, how they learn. The time is now for Indiana to regain its status as a leader by delivering universal access to education freedom for every Hoosier. The time is now for Indiana to ensure our children get the education they deserve, so they can compete with every state in America and every country around the globe. Contact your state senator today and tell them now is the time to put our kids first and pass universal school choice. Paid for by Yes Every Kid.
WindowNation.com is where you can find an amazing deal going on right now with Window Nation. 0% financing for 5 years, which is pretty unheard of in this industry. 0 interest for 5 years. Plus, Window Nation will give you 2 free windows with every 2 you buy. I have energy-efficient Window Nation windows installed in my house. My energy bills have gone down as a result, and I love the way they look.
Pay 0 interest for 5 years. 0 for 5 years. And that's on top of the amazing deal where you buy 2 windows and get 2 for free. And the best part about that, there's no limit. And you can choose any style that you want. Really, Window Nation makes this as easy as possible for you to save thousands of dollars. All you have to do is pick up the phone, make the call, and get the deal locked in. 866-90-NATION or go to windownation.com. You have to tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
This is Scott Willis running for mayor of Westfield. As a colonel in the United States Marines, I stood up for our country, our families, and our values. As mayor, I have the leadership and vision to make Westfield a world-class city. How do we build a world-class city without losing the qualities we love? We do it with transparency, integrity, and smart leadership. I am a lifelong Republican. I'll work to diversify our tax base and to lower residential taxes. On Election Day, experience matters. I'm Scott Willis, and I'd be honored to have your vote.
Paid for by Willis for Westfield. Tired of eating at the same old places? Try Jay's Lobster and Fish Market in the Garage Food Hall in the Bottle Works District, downtown Indy. Named one of Indianapolis Monthly's best restaurants in 2021. Jay's specializes in lobster rolls, but also serves up incredible crab and shrimp rolls. A New England-style seafood shack, bringing a taste of the East Coast home to Indiana. You've got to try it all. Lobster rolls, lobster mac and cheese, lobster grilled cheese, and more. It's all at Jay's Lobster and Fish Market. Visit today.
There's nothing more important than time. Time for you and time for family. If issues like high blood pressure or high cholesterol run in your family, make time for highly skilled heart care too. At Indiana University Health, you can book a same-day appointment with the state's most preferred provider of cardiovascular care. See a top cardiologist today, then get back to what's most important without skipping a beat. Visit iuhealth.org/heart to book your appointment today.
Staples stores provide innovative products and services for small business, remote workers, and learners, even teachers and parents. Explore more at your local Staples store.
This is Danny Reinhardt with Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Give us a call for any of your heating and cooling needs. We're here to serve you. 317-745-4526.
Reinhardt is your trusted local independent American Standard Air dealer.
Matt Bear has a look at the roads.
All right, Hammer, we have a crash downtown. Getting out of downtown on the on-ramp from West 11th to northbound 65. The ramp is open. It is partially blocked. Outbound west, pretty slow right now. Looking at northbound 37 on the south side, that is stopped from Epler to 465 because of ongoing construction under the bridge. Eastbound 70 from the north split out to Emerson Avenue, that is slow. And inbound 69 stop and go 96 to 82nd. Traffic sponsored by Indy Decorative Concrete. Imagine the possibilities of getting the backyard of your dreams. Expand your living space with an Indy Decorative Concrete patio. Indy Decorative Concrete, the patio experts, big enough to service, small enough to care. I'm Matt Bear. Follow us on Twitter for instant traffic updates at WIBC Traffic.
Matt Bear has a look at the road. 64 at the American Standard Cooling Weather Center at 93 WIBC.
Okay, we're back. Second segment going off the rails with Rob Kendall. Donald Trump hinting around he may not want to participate in any sort of GOP primary debate. Your thoughts, and then you got into it on your show earlier today about the age of not only Joe Biden, but Donald Trump.
Nobody should ever be elected if they refuse to debate. Period. End of story. Whether it's Donald Trump or Diego Morales. If you are not willing to stand in front of people and say, I believe these things, and to be challenged on it, not by friendly media, but be challenged by people who also want your job, that is not somebody you want running this country.
What about the age aspect? You said something kind of surprising to me, and maybe I heard it wrong or it was out of context, but you said because of Donald Trump's age, you thought that it might not be a good idea for him to run.
He's had his chance. I mean, look, at some point, you've had your opportunity, right? I mean, he'll be, 78 if he's elected again. He was already the president. He had opportunities. He did some good things. He did some colossally terrible things during COVID. I mean, if Biden did the things Trump did, people would have lost their minds. And he ran and lost. You've been at this for 8 years. It'll be 12 by the time the election's up. Dude, you're a politician now. The anti-politician becomes the politician. You're no different than anybody else.
Rob, we got a couple of minutes left, and I definitely want to get this in. The name of this segment is called Off the Rails. Yes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a statement, and I'm just going to tee you up and let you go.
Oh, boy.
Last night, late in the evening, at the Indiana General Assembly, certain lawmakers were voted to receive a massive pay raise without helping any Hoosiers in the state of Indiana with property taxes or taxes as a whole. Go.
Hammer literally ducking under the desk right now. Well,
fire in the hole.
Just these guys. I mean, we have some really maniacal, evil people who represent us down at the State House. You have record property taxes. You have people who can't afford to stay in their homes. You have people who are figuring out, how am I going to put gas in my car because we have one of the highest gas taxes in the nation. And you know what those people in the Indiana General Assembly did with no warning last night? At least when they took the $1.5 million in raises for themselves, they did it out in the open. Last night, at the end of the budget session, they gave the governor a $65,000 raise.
Oh, man.
I'm sorry, did you say just a couple $100 here and there? Is that what he got, Rob?
Gave the governor a $65,000 raise. They gave massive raises to every single state lawmaker beginning in 2025. The governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, state treasurer, state auditor, and secretary of state. But in order
to do that, I'm sure they got rid of the gas tax, right?
No. So think about nothing. They raised the gas. They raised it. They raised the gas tax again for 3 more years. $90 million in new taxes on gas. No help on property taxes. They eliminated the automatic taxpayer refund if the surplus gets too big. These guys...
So to recap the General Assembly, they raised the gas tax, didn't do anything with property taxes, threw out the idea that school board members have to run as a Republican or Democrat, and gave themselves massive raises.
Yes, well, yes. That in the how like after a golf tournament they'll do the 2020 U.S. Open in 1 hour. That would be the Cliff Notes version of the Indiana General Assembly. That is the Republicans though. The Republicans are the party of big taxes and bigger government, and they line the pockets of their buddies and told you to eat it.
We got speaking of eating it, we got the official state sandwich nailed down, right?
No, that didn't pass after all that effort.
What?
It died. You did not get the state all that effort.
The McRib lobbyist came in and fought it. the red-shirted McRib folks came into the State House very angry. What's coming up on the Kendall and Casey show?
We've got our friend Donald Rainwater on tomorrow. He's got a big announcement.
Who are we thinking?
Garage Doors of Indianapolis, the greatest darn garage door company on the entire planet.
He's off the rails. He's Rob Kendall. It's the Hammer and Nigel show.
This is it. The final days, the final hours of Diamonds Direct's amazing one-year spring store-wide sale. Everyone's loving this, but time is running out. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to take advantage of 20% savings on virtually everything. Big trunk shows all weekend with designers in-store. Save an extra 20% off rings, earrings, bracelets, bands, even engagement ring mountings. It's the biggest and best store-wide event all year with expanded hours this weekend, including open Sunday. Get all the details now at DiamondsDirect.com.
I'm Mark Myers. I was born and raised in Greenwood, and I'm proud to call it home. I'm committed to serving our community. I was a Greenwood police officer for 14 years and still serve as a special deputy for the Johnson County Sheriff's Office. I'm Mark Myers. I'm running for re-election as your mayor, and I'm asking for your vote because I know how important safety and security are to our family. Paid for by Myers for Greenwood.
Hey, my wife and I are long-term customers at Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus. We got our Tempur-Pedic mattress there. If you're not in the market for a mattress, they have everything, indoor, outdoor furniture. Right now, outdoor furniture from Berlin Gardens and Pollywood. They guarantee the best price compared to any competitors, plus free white glove delivery and setup with Thompson Furniture and Mattress in Columbus.
There's nothing better than when I see photos of Hammer and Nigel Show listeners going down to Thompson Furniture in Columbus. They've been ran by the same family since 1927. They still have free delivery and setup within 75 miles of their store in Columbus. Everybody else is raising rates. They still have it free. They'll deliver the mattress. They'll set it up. They'll take the old one back and won't charge you anymore. Plus, they support what we do here at the Hammer and Nigel Show, so take care of these guys. They're the good guys. Thompson Furniture in Columbus. Tell them Hammer and Nigel sent you.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Nobody cares for you like family. Family Heating and Air.
Hey, this is Malia. We often get asked when is the best time to buy, and the answer is today, not tomorrow. With rising utility costs, rising product costs, and missed opportunity costs, which you could be saving with a high-efficiency system. Give us a call today to schedule your free in-depth estimate, 317-577-8077.
Family Heating and Air is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
My drinking was out of control. It was tearing my family apart and controlling my life. I had a choice, and I chose Landmark Recovery's addiction treatment program. They showed me a proven pathway to recovery. What will you choose?
Choose life. Choose Landmark Recovery. Visit landmarkrecovery.com to learn more.
Is your Generac home standby generator overdue for annual maintenance or an oil change? Schedule an inspection with a certified tech at Generator Supercenter to ensure your Generac generator is ready when you need it most. GeneratorSupercenter.com.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio, brought to you by MCM CPAs and Advisors, your full-service accounting and advisory firm where people matter, leaders inspire, and excellence rules. I'm Alex Brown. Indianapolis-based Orthodontic Details has announced a collaboration with several major orthodontic suppliers, including 3M Oral Care and Franklin-based G&H Orthodontics, to boost its online procurement platform. President Nick Wengler says the platform creates a one-stop shop for orthodontic practices.
This partnership with 3M and G&H and Reliance and others, what it does is it makes it easier for us to collaborate when it comes to onboarding customers, actually getting orders submitted when there's back orders, finding out of that ahead of time. And so it makes life easy for the practices, but it also makes life easy for the suppliers.
Details launched its new platform 13 months ago and has gone from 0 to 85 practices as users and about a dozen suppliers. The Phoenix Theater Cultural Center in downtown Indianapolis has announced business leader and consultant William Powell as interim CEO. The nonprofit's board of directors has also begun a national search to find a permanent CEO with the goal of filling the newly created position by January 1st, 2024. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
I'm Christopher Day, the CEO of Elevate Ventures. We are the number one most active venture capital firm in the Great Lakes region and number 20 in the U.S. We invest in innovative Indiana companies. Today, Indiana has monikers including Amateur Sports Capital World, Racing Capital World, and Crossroads of America. Now is our opportunity as a state to chart the next 50 years. The productivity boom is well underway, and Indiana has the opportunity to become the innovation capital of the world. Visit elevateventures.com/whyindiana to learn more.
Purdue University has announced it received 2 gifts this week totaling $27 million from longtime university benefactors whose gifts could have a long-term impact for future Boilermakers. Jeannie and Jim Chaney have committed to giving the university $17 million to support endowments, scholarships, and development projects for the College of Pharmacy. Meanwhile, alumni William and Barbara Rakosnik have committed more than $10 million to Purdue in support of graduate programs in mechanical engineering and psychological sciences. A portion of the gift is also earmarked for university residences. I'm Alex Brown for 93 WIBC.
Coming up in 2 minutes, your former Vice President and Governor Mike Pence testified today. Donnie Burgess reports on a student with a BB gun at an Indiana school. And your downtown commutes might be a bit shorter after this weekend. All that and more coming up after Fox News Radio from the Peterman Brothers Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical Studios. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 6 o'clock.
This is a Fox News alert. He's given his testimony. I'm Lee Silasera. Former Vice President Mike Pence has testified before a federal grand jury investigating efforts by then-President Trump and his allies to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. The testimony came hours after a federal appeals court in a sealed order rejected a bid by Trump's lawyers to block Pence's appearance. The Biden administration is helping Americans who want to leave Sudan as fighting there continues, but a military evacuation is not planned.
U.S. officials say the security situation in Khartoum, Sudan, and the closure of the airport makes it too unsafe for a government-coordinated evacuation of private American citizens.
We have deployed U.S. intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance assets to support air and land evacuations routes.